Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important. I'm just a question asker. My name is Raheem Aljamain, but we have my brother with me this morning. I see got my brother with me early this morning. This is Mr. Hicks. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Ryan. You
Man,
started my day off bright, bro.
yes,
Good
sir.
morning. Praise.
And we got some stuff to talk about today, brother. And I gotta ask you a question, man. And we coming out the gates 115 miles per hour. You ready?
Whoa, I think so.
I'm gonna ask you a question, man. I've been watching the news. I've been looking at this thing. I've been getting conflicting messages, and I want to get some clarity on this thing today. Um, just lost the Queen Elizabeth II. Just
Mhm.
lost. She just passed. I think at 96 years old, lived a long life. Um, But my question is, in one of the conflicts that I'm having from all the reports that I'm getting from different places, and I'm watching different things from different people. Some
Mhm.
people seem to think that she was a colonist and that she had some racism in her. Brother, what do you get?
Uh,
Ain't number one truth, brother.
well,
Ain't number one truth.
this royal bloodline extends from something that goes back to centuries
Mm-hmm.
in terms of a belief that people aren't able to rule them.
Mm.
A lot of people think that the queen was a figurehead and that the power rested with the crown, but that's been an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the power rests with the queen. Their history, I mean, the history of how they changed their name from the German surname that they had to camouflage certain issues. But I think all in all, though, when you look back at the rule that the evolution of things there, um, it's the mother of this country.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of writers said the War of 1812 that Britain really conquered this country and made a secret agreement, and that the United States as an enterprise is still ruled by the Pope and the Queen. I think
Mm.
it's ironic when I watch all of our elected leaders going and bowing to the Pope,
Yeah.
not recognizing the history of the Jessups and their world plan that's written in the Black Popes book, that Slay and Kill. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of writers said even though the war between the states was propagated by the Jessup to kill Protestant believers, Catholics' intention is to regain the power that it had over the world.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting to see what happens with the new king.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's going to be any better with him? Do you think he's going to curve or continue the path that they're on?
I think the web and the conspiracy and cabal that's connected with this thing, it goes back at least as far as 1776, when
Mm-hmm.
the Bavarian created the Illuminati with the purpose of usurping the civil authorities of any democratic government. So
Mm-hmm.
their plan book has been in play from the beginning. And the king, he's just a part. The
Mm-hmm.
real head of this thing, has never been identified. We never know.
Mm-hmm.
They're not recorded anywhere, but they're the elite. Uh, they're pushing, even in England, the people are pushing against the monarchy and they want more of a democracy. That's why you see all of the protests going. We don't cover it out. News coverage don't show the unrest that's going on in Britain and other countries
Mm-hmm.
about the push away from the people ruling. Uh,
Because I did see, to your point, brother, I did see a few people. that was actually over there protesting. There was protesting this whole thing, man, and they didn't shine a lot of light on it. They didn't give it a lot of time. You know, they say, well, there's a few people out here with signs and protesting, and there's a few people, and they grabbed one guy out the crowd because he was saying something. He was saying something to quote unquote the king about him being a dirty old some kind of man he was, and
Yeah,
they arrested him for his stance, just for verbalizing his thoughts and his opinions about what he thought. But what did he really know though? Did he know anything? Is what he is what he was saying? Was there any truth in what he was saying? And so it's a lot tied into this thing, brother. Go ahead. What's on your heart?
yeah, it is. Yeah. Um. Well, there's a lot going on. I mean, I've been in a in a in a hole just looking back at history, and I think I need to stop. I don't know what I need to do. And seeing this web of conspiracy that's been evolving,
Mm-hmm.
the protocols of the tribe of Zion, which they try to say was the Jews, but it was really the Jesuits that wrote this publication. They wrote this stuff in 1903, and
Mm-hmm.
it's happening now. You know, I think I really know that people have to wake up.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about going out and protesting and doing. Just wake up.
Mm-hmm. Just know what the
Just
truth
wake
is.
up.
Recognize the truth.
Yeah, search for the truth, because
Mm-hmm.
the truth is hard to find, but you never stop this search, never settle for what the talking heads tell us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, check them out, research it, but don't believe it.
Yeah.
I think we won't believe that we're being visited by extraterrestrials until
Mm-hmm.
somebody on CNN or one of the news shows tell them. Then everybody will believe it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
even if it's a lie.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. They this old saying. They say I'm trying to get it right, man. I'm feeling it over it a little
Mhm.
bit. They say the truth of the lie will travel around the whole city before the truth leave your street. The lie will
Oh
travel
yeah,
around the lie will travel around the whole town 3 or 4 times before the
before
truth
truth.
leave your street.
Yeah, that's sort of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of it. But
Absolutely.
it's interesting time. Then I've heard, and maybe some of our ears, some people that listen to probably may have heard this. I've heard that they got a regeneration program where this queen here has been that whole thing about transferring the conscious into another body.
Mm-hmm.
The science of that.
Mm-hmm.
They say that this lady been around a long time and said she ain't going. She really ain't going.
Wow. Wow. See, I don't know if that's I don't know if that's one of the conspiracy theories that they have out because people saying all kind of things, man. But in this day and time, brother, you never know. In this day and time, you never know. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm out here being grateful and thankful to see another beautiful day, man. Welcome, everybody.
Hey, welcome to you as well, brother. We're talking about just lost the queen, quote unquote, the Queen of England. We just lost her, man, and I'll ask the question.
Who are we?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said that, and that's exactly why I said it like that. That's exactly why I said the quote unquote queen. That's why I said it in that way. You with me? You with me? But they just lost her, and they were saying that I've heard conflicting stories. I know a bit of it, but I'm leaning on y'all, man, to give me some more facts on what's really going on. Um, some say she was a colonist, and some say she was had a smidge of racism in her. What do you gather?
Well, first off, I don't care about her. That's their queen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in that system. And I mean, as far as her being racist, well, it's pretty much obvious. I mean, she may have leaned and opened up and changed a little bit, evolved over time. But I mean, history tells what it is. I mean, if people know their history, then they wouldn't be concerned about this. We're in America. What do we care?
Mm-hmm. Well, what?
The reason why America exists is because they try to break away from that. But now every time they touch ground over here, you know what I'm saying, they make headlines. It's like they
Mm-hmm.
still adore and
Mm-hmm.
and, and, and glorify that lifestyle, that opulence and privilege and entitlement. You know what I'm saying? It's sickening even to think that could even exist in 2022. And now here it is, we giving them the same privilege. I ain't talking about you, but just the mindset to think that we lost somebody. Black people didn't lose her.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, she's not loved in Africa. The royal family is not loved in Africa. If they worship, it's because people have been brainwashed to worship. I mean, but we do that.
And you know what's amazing? I saw some footage. Like I said, I like to look at some things before I even bring it on here. I like to look at a few things and try to get some do some fact checking before I bring it on. And Mandela, Nelson Mandela, man, before he passed on, they met a couple of times, and they were friendly. I ain't gonna say they was friends, but they were friendly. And he never called her. He never addressed her as Queen Elizabeth. He always called her Elizabeth. Hey, Elizabeth, how you doing? And so there's a I think there's a method in that madness. He never recognized her as a queen. He just called her Elizabeth.
Because they colonized her.
Yeah,
exactly. They authorized colonization and murder, genocide. They authorized that. That's their history that involved in incest. That's a whole lot of sick behavior to maintain their privilege and their bloodline. Like I said, man, I mean, you know, and they're pedestalized and privileged and entitled. All in the media, everybody loves them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but I mean that just really goes to show you what society is. Now the truth of the matter is, you know, they got a sick, I'm gonna say, ancient culture that people have accepted, and I don't know why we even still giving them that type of power. I mean, man, it's all, I don't know, man. It's just backwards to me, man. I don't dig it. But you know, you said something about the man protesting against Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
Now to me, that's something, you know what I'm saying, really worth paying attention to. And not to mention that system that they come from, King Leopold. You know what I'm saying? If you know what he did in the Congo, he killed more people than Hitler did.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't murder those colonizers, the imperial, or whatever they want to call themselves, the royal family, the monarchy. They have killed so many black people to maintain that throne. And actually, really and truly, you know what I'm saying, if you want to talk about royal bloodline, they probably should be a lot darker. But, you know, I think about that end of it, and then when you said about Prince Andrew, and I like what that man did. Because when it comes to somebody being inhumane, we have to start being consistent and putting our foot down and not embracing them. Because just like I saw that man protesting, I also saw a video of this man groping his daughter while they were observing his mother. And you know he's been accused of that before, of being real touchy-feely with his daughter. You know, they come from sick bloodline, man. They could come from a sick belief system. So, you know, they lost of it. I didn't lose her. I ain't never agreed with that lifestyle or understood why it even existed. I just knew that privilege entitlement and that type of entitlement comes from people thinking that they're more superior than other people. And that word superior and just the thought of seeing it with my own eyes, you're just superior and entitled just because. I don't agree with that. So I know what it was rooted in, and that, believe me, they definitely rooted in white superiority, because that's why Meghan had to get out of Dodge, and that's why Harry got disowned before she died. Now she might have been a problem, because they said that Charles is more receptive, so she might have been. Just think about that. If she the reason why Meghan had to leave, if she was the one that was causing that hostility because of that bloodline, because of that chocolatey baby. And then we up here talking about we lost.
No. Hold on now. We not talking about we lost. We ain't lost nothing. You know, it's just the verbiage that we're having. So yeah, I'm with you on what you're saying. Definitely with you on what you're saying. Let me go back to Mr. Hicks. Mr. Hicks, what's on your heart, brother?
I think about it in the sense of all of us human beings. We're born. We come into this world. As far as we know, we don't pick our parents. We don't pick the place. We don't pick anything about that. We're born in this situation.
Yes.
These people born in these families, they they're programmed just like Michael Jackson, young, but more than 10,
Mhm.
because they have all these secret doctrines they got to learn. They got to learn how not to say this in front of that person and how to believe and think this way. Very rarely do someone break the chain of this programming.
Mhm.
And that's all of us. You know, nobody pick where they're born. They don't pick the religion. They don't pick anything. They're just dropped in this world, and it's. I guess I have to, in order to see it clearly. For me, it goes back to a concept that's in Scripture. As though we walk in the flesh, we don't war in the flesh.
Mhm.
For our weapons are mighty. So this is even going to the thing, this high evil and high wicked places from the old clay tablets that gave a different cosmology than we have about the origin of man and the universe and all that thing. The ancients had a cosmology. And all these ancient beliefs talked about some beings that came from the earth, came from the sky, came into the earth, and they ruled. And when they left a demigod. That's offspring.
Mhm.
That's offspring that had the DNA of these people, which is why the bloodline always checked. And when you go back to it, all major politicians of this country and the other country had this bloodline, and a lot of the different people in different capacities within the governments. I mean, just the clerks and people in the departments, they all had the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
These people don't carry the name, they carry the surnames because the names have changed. But it goes back to a biblical concept again, is that Cain was of the serpent seed, and there was a seed left in the earth that had damaged people and caused for the floods to destroy them, to try to get this particular bloodline out, but somehow it's still rampant.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to look at these people as human beings caught up in the maze, trying to figure their way out too. Very, very few of them break out because they got so many benefits from it.
Mm-hmm.
They get the royal treatment. And then plus they're doing a whole lot of rituals that eyes wide shut.
Yeah.
Sacrificing these babies to a Baal like they did at ancient time. Yeah, homosexuality and molesting boys to go inside their rectum and produce this in conogram, something they drink that gives them a high and gives them longevity. So there's so many things behind the subject, behind the scenes that gets you sort of confused. But I think about it and look that Britain was the country that led the push to legally destroy slavery. They were first to do it. They had ships patrolling it to stop it. They followed their game plan to take things to a different place, not to make an individual group slaves, but make the whole earth slaves, all under the power of the Pope and the Queen. And that means if you say something they don't want, they kill you. It's basically looking back at history, seeing that the Jesuits formulated Karl Marx theory. They formulate the war, all the wars, the shift when Rothschild came in power by crashing the stock market and buying the property and buying things that pennies on the dollar. Something like 2008. They control none of this. Anything that's happened, nothing's happened by accident.
Exactly.
The policies that Biden is doing, they're not his decision. It's not accident. It's not an accident. We're having a problem. We got to keep this going. They can't let the pressure up. They can keep the fear going. Keep people battling each other, fighting each other. And they actually want a civil war. The speech that Biden had, if anybody can't see the speech that he gave out, it's so funny when people criticize the craziness of Trump. And he was crazy, the stuff he said. But listen, pot called the kettle black.
Absolutely.
Both sides are playing this game.
Absolutely. Mr. Pete. Sir Pete, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, DKM Radio, Morning Glow, panel, listening, audience, Facebook, all of those across the world listening in to the DKM Radio. Morning Glow.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What an opening, brother. What an opening. Hey, you talking directly to your phone? It's a little bit low.
Yes, sir.
Okay. ask you this question, brother. We quote unquote just lost the Queen of England. What they say is the Queen of England. I've been watching a lot of things. We talked about this morning, man. And I'm asking you the question directly, straight out. And I know you're gonna give me a straight up answer. Was she a colonist? Was she roundabout? Was she a racist? How do you feel about that loss?
I don't feel a loss at all.
Come on,
First of all.
come on.
So, good riddance. As far as was she a racist? I didn't know the lady,
Mm-hmm.
so I can't say whether she was racist or not.
Mm-hmm.
Was she a colonist?
Mm-hmm. Colonialist, how you, yeah. Mm-hmm.
She represents a system
Mm-hmm.
of white supremacy,
Mm-hmm.
dominance, subjugation, thievery, murder, and lies all across the world. That group of people, that particular family, have so many stolen artifacts that are critical to the function of societies and the whole planet.
Mm-hmm.
And they're holding them as their own illegally. Not to mention the stolen wealth.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's bring up about her lineage being those that try to force their concept of Christianity on the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And all the horrific atrocities that they continue to commit,
Mm-hmm.
and they're behind and they're responsible for. So this was a lady who represented the powerful people on earth who are influential, wealthy, don't have high righteous morals, principles, or character,
Mm-hmm.
and are not to be respected, are not to be praised, adored, admired, appreciated, or even acknowledged other than through their wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as imposing themselves up as the family, the royal family, the whomever, imposter, thievery, lying, murderers, demon devils that they are, I don't know what else we should be acknowledging them as. Hopefully, her son, being at his ripe season age, won't last too much longer. And by the time Junior steps in to take over, the world will wake up and do away with that foolishness.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
They
Wow.
gave us a scare Saturday, didn't they? They gave us a scare Saturday, man.
Rico, I'm gonna mute your line, brother. You know, we could hear you talking about them old rollover ties, them old rollover ties. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, good
And
morning.
I don't wanna throw a blow if I can just cut in, but see, this is where our people need to be paying attention
Yeah.
to what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not aware of the powerful players, you got the first Mason in the world now is the king.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay attention to these power moves and these
Yeah.
positions.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching games, but you're a player in a game and you're getting played by the game. So
Exactly.
you better turn the game off and
Mm-hmm.
learn the rules to the real game before
Exactly.
you get terminated, your contract get withdrawn.
And that's a heck of a statement, man. You know, the king, the first Mason of Blase Blase is the king of England. Is quote unquote the king of England, man. That's a lot. That's a lot. Cassandra, good morning. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
You all right?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
good. Asking about the quote unquote the Queen of England. We just lost her, man, and yeah, she lived a long life, man. Lived to be 96 years old. That was a great life to live, man. Saw a lot, but was she also what you call a colonist, colonist, whatever however you pronounce that fancy word that's above my public school grade level. Was she that, or Cassandra, was she a roundabout racist?
The whole royal family thing for me, they're just figureheads.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? They're figureheads for something that's very negative,
Mm-hmm.
but they're just figureheads.
Mm-hmm.
The people that really run stuff are the people in the other positions in that country. She you can say she could do this and she can do that. She's the queen, but no real decisions could that lady make. You know, they're figureheads. Just like here, we have people that control behind the scenes. That's exactly what that type of position is. That's what a royal family does. They represent everything that is not good about, you know, those type of structures. What's the word? You know, the way they run a country. I have no
System.
Did somebody say that? Yeah, system. The type of system that they run. But as far as real power, she ain't got no power. She ain't never had no power. It's all about that she represents everything that they did, everything that people say that they're negative about. She represented that, but she ain't had no real power. I don't want to see, you know, I'm not about, you know, I'm glad she dead. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that because that's not my position to say. But I hope that Charles won't last. No, I'm not saying I hope that Charles won't last long. I'm saying Charles may not last long. He's 73 or 70, whatever age he is. My prayer is that William and, you know, whoever comes into play next, that they will try to help change the dynamics of who they represent around the world. Let go of all of these countries. Y'all should not rule nobody but your own damn. Y'all should not be ruling nobody, but right there where y'all at, if that's what y'all want to do. But every other country that they, you know, are over, or they took charge over, or they killed to get in charge of, they need to relinquish all of that. That's my prayer. That's my prayer.
Absolutely. Let me read this, and this is what Paul here written something in the chat box over here. Paul Public Citizen, he wrote this in the chat box. I'm gonna read it. Got to make it a little larger because it's real small, so y'all bear with me. The monarchy makes a lot of money for the Brits. It isn't going anywhere. I don't know that the Queen did anything particularly racist. Yes, British monarchy is based on racism, but I have no ill feelings toward her. I have no reasons to hate her. I don't know if we actually talking about hating her or hating the system, or not even hate, or disliking a system. And I think from what you wrote, you're pretty much in the same place, because we're not saying we hate the woman. We're not saying that we want the woman to die, or we happy that she's dead. I'm not saying that. I can speak for myself. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that system that she was there to represent, the figurehead, if you will, that she was placed in position to represent, is what I don't like. And that's pretty much what you said there as well. It's just that it's a system, and the system, not the person, but the system. A lot of times people say about the president of the United States of America, whoever it is at the time, they say sometimes they don't like the system, but you know, some people just say they just don't like Trump. But anyway, you know, that's a whole different situation. But it's not that we're saying that we don't like her, or we have anything personal against her. We don't know her personally, but we do know that system. Let's go to Joseph. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, family. And good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning.
Man, wonderful conversation, man. Wonderful conversation. I'm like the young lady. I think the Queen probably was a decent person. We can't choose what station we're born into. That happens after we're born. But the system that she represents has been genocidal, very exploitative, and the wealth for England came from those slaves in those islands and in the United States, and the colonization of Asian and African countries. So the system I could never reconcile myself with. I remember reading what W.B. Du Bois said, I think it was late 1800s or early 1900s, when he was studying in Europe. He got sick and was able to go to hospital in Europe, in UK, I think, free. But then when he reflected on it, he said, well, the reason why it's free is because of all the wealth that the country had gotten from other people's land. W.B. Du Bois was a critical thinker. And I think we must continue to be critical thinkers to this day, because this system won't change unless, as Frederick Douglass said, we demand change. I think Frederick Douglass put it this way. He said, power conceives nothing without a demand. And therefore, we must be making the demand. Like Barbados just told the Queen, you know, where she can go. Sometimes we got to maintain righteous indignation. It doesn't have to be necessarily hateful or destructive. We're living based on true facts, not myths. And then there are some people who want us to live by their mythology. But the fact of the matter is, not only did England use a bunch of lies and myths and their laws to rob and steal from us, but even in this country, you know, we don't get reparation, but we don't get equal pay with our white counterparts. I mean, if you fix that alone, sugar, that might solve a lot of our problem as black folks in the United States of America. Because if you Google Coca-Cola, the discrimination lawsuit, you can read about it. Coca-Cola was paying their white employees $13,000 more than they were paying their black employees. They were sued for that. That was just one company. Can you imagine what the other companies are doing?
Wow.
And this is why the neighborhoods are so segregated in the United States, because whites can afford to live in all white neighborhoods. You see what I'm saying? If you're getting paid more. So the system, like brother said, the system, and it's a white supremacist system, and they want to rule the whole world. And I'm not trying to bow down to that.
No. Never. Never.
That's my position.
Absolutely. Rico, talk to me, brother. Talk about the system.
Okay, that's good. I'm cool with talking about the system, because if we're going to keep on talking about the monarchy, I'll just go back to football and be distracted for a little bit. You know, every now and then we need a little distraction, like we distracted by calling her we lost. That almost make my stomach hurt every time you say it, because it sort of make me realize that sometimes, somewhere, somebody gonna hear that and they might repeat it. Man, we lost the queen. We lost the queen. Who is we? We lost the queen. So like, imagine the whole black community run around here saying that we lost the queen and we in America. But we conform. It's politically correct. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's the etiquette. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely inconsistent. It's definitely part of the programming. You know, so like if we actually want to talk about defeating the system, then we have to start standing accurate on how we, you know, how we announce people instead of just conforming to their culture. You know, that's what they say. They say that's their queen. Now, you know, white people might believe that's their queen too, because she stands for, you know, that system she stood for comes from white supremacy. So I can understand white people feeling like we lost the queen. Still a little strange to me, knowing the history of America and Great Britain. But, you know, that's how the distraction works. You know what I'm saying? There's a cause and effect behind everything. Some people lack the knowledge. They don't pay attention. You know, I guess if people really did understand the reason why America exists and broke away, you know, they would sort of realize that we shouldn't, over in America, shouldn't even be embracing it or even saying we, you know what I'm saying? They should be, you know, addressed as their queen. Great Britain lost their queen today. But, you know, they program you the way they want to.
And
so,
let me say
I'm
this.
just waiting on the next topic, man. We can talk about a little bit of Alabama.
No.
Football.
No. We talking about the system now. We're talking about the system and how the system works. But for the record, when I said that, that's why I said it the way I said it, quote unquote, the queen or they lost the queen or something like that. I never say that we personally lost our queen, because I know what that stance is all about. And just for the record and for the people that's listening, no, we're not claiming her at all. But go ahead, man. Let's talk about the system.
I'm just being sarcastic, because I don't embrace her like that. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm in a group of people that does embrace her like that, then I can think about something else.
Let's talk about the system and how the system is set up. Like Joseph was just saying?
Well, to me, it's tainted. And I really, man, it came to me yesterday, man.
Uh-oh.
For some reason, something came in place, man, that really infected us with the system of hedonism, that behavior. And now hedonism is like favorable. If you know what the definition of hedonism is, you can sort of relate that to the monarchy and the privilege and the entitlement, the opulence. They had a lot of power and wealth they could have shared. I look at what's going on in the world. There's a lot of people in need. Like you said, they can't help where they were born. But when you have that privilege and entitlement, and you have resources, and these situations go on, where's the sacrifice? Where's the charity? So I mean, like I said, we could get back on the system. I listen to y'all talk for a second, then I have something different to say. But just it just even having this conversation about that, and then us having our condition. What I'm saying? I believe before we could even get to worrying about that, there's other things right on our table, right in our faces that, what I'm saying, that, man, we ain't gonna never be able to fix them as long as we talking about who we lost.
Okay.
And Great Britain, the Queen.
Okay. I'm gonna go to Pete. I'm gonna go to Pete. I'm asking this question because when we talk about this system, Pete, when we talk about this thing called the system, how can we make a difference? I'm not even gonna say fix it. How can we make a difference?
Information, knowledge, education, knowing the truth, the facts, and then adjusting yourself and how you interact and exist amongst the families of nations, the League of Nations. We, as an ethnic group, are in a precarious situation here in America. Let's be clear. America is not free from Britain. America is still a colony of Britain, very much so.
Yeah.
So the Great War and all the great lies and all the great deception are exactly that. You didn't win nothing. You lost. And you're still subject to them. That's why they give her so much props over here, because they pay homage to her, very much so. One. Number two, their society of secrets is very much controlled by them. And we reinforce it over here. And many of these need to grows, they enforce it as well, knowing not what they embody or endeavor to pursue. You start out learning Christianity, you end up learning Islam, and at the end you may learn some things that you didn't want to know, but you'll find out that you're being deceived, and all they're doing is regurgitating your history, your heritage, your culture, and the universal truth of the lineage of this planet back to you, which is very much linked to you. Okay? When we talk about this system, we're talking about a society that says governed by laws, but yet they give people qualified immunity, which is an exact assault to the law. So then we can't be governed by laws. That's a fallacy. They give you vomit for religion and never want you to touch on spirituality. They keep their foot on certain people's neck. Democracy functions off having a permanent underclass. Somebody has to be the foundation of it. Unfortunately, they designated those that look like you to be the foundation of the bottom. Okay. Yes, you can achieve, you can accomplish, you can acquire, you can do. And there's a great assault against you when you do, if you don't stay subject to their ways, their means, and their system. You have inadequate health care, you have inadequate education, you have inadequate opportunities, you have inadequate funding, you have inadequate attention from the judiciary, and you have a full-blown assault against you, specifically as an ethnic group in America. And the greatest problem for our people here in America is not understanding the system and the structure that has been put in place. There's no land on earth called black land. So you must understand who you are and what you are. What is your ethnicity? What is your nationality? And until you articulate, digest, comprehend, and correct, you will continue to be an object a slave wood to be thrown into the fire to keep others warm at the expense of your very existence. This is the system in which we find ourselves living in, and it has graduated and blossomed to put a footprint and a handprint, squeeze fist on as much of the planet as it can.
Wow.
And it's doing it.
Wow. Let's talk to Toya with a T. Toya with a T. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
I don't know how I'm doing. It's your second morning with a tie on. What's really going on? You applied for a job interview, not telling us or something like that. What you got going on? You got these ties on 2 mornings in a row. Okay, then. Don't cut me being so sharp up there on that screen.
Come on now.
I'm talking about taking greatness and excellence to a level. That's what I'm talking about. Yes,
there
sir.
You go. Yeah, you got to do it, Toya. You got to do it. Got to do it. But Toya, we talking about quote unquote the queen, their queen. How are we gonna verbalize this thing? I'm gonna go to this and we're gonna go back to what we was just talking about being the system. They lost the queen. The queen of 96 years. She had a long life. But my thing was, what was she? Because I've heard conflicting stories, and I'm leaning on y'all to give me some clarity on what we're talking about right now. Now, was she a colonist? Was she a colonist? Or was she around about racist? What do you see? What do you see when you think about the queen?
She's the queen of it. We forgetting history? Are we forgetting history?
Come on.
We forget Great Britain and what they did to Jamaicans. Do we forget the story of the Lords of London? Do we forget that our Social Security numbers go to them? They got the cash and they got the resources. Do we forget that they gave them slave masters? Just like America, they get them slave masters, all them sterling silvers, pounds of silvers. We forgetting all that. Don't get me started. Y'all gonna get me. Y'all gonna get us kicked off. So where Ibrahim at? Because we need to go back in history if we don't understand why. Now, should we grieve over death? Absolutely, we should, right? But did we grieve over Jeffrey Dahmer? Did we grieve over the guy who blew up the Olympic bombing? Did we grieve for the man in Waco, Texas? You understand? Did we grieve for Osama bin Laden? You understand what I'm saying? So even though we don't want to recognize or might not even know history, when we are taught to praise somebody in America, that's what we do. That's how you know we under a spell. But did they tell us to praise Omar Gaddafi? You understand what I'm saying? So there's a history behind America and the Queen, right? That we probably don't know and probably don't acknowledge. But we still praise our president of America, even though we know what America took us through. So it kind of goes hand in hand because that's how we do. We're in this Western civilization that is ran and operated by people who have oppressed us and who are the leaders of the oppressions, Black and brown people. And then we are told to, Master Dad, I'll go put some flowers, and we need to be sad that Master gone now because Master done so much for us. So, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be conflicting stories about the Queen of England. You know, my heart goes out because I just know how it is to lose a loved one. It doesn't make a difference whether they're a murderer, whether they're whatever. You know what I'm saying? When you lose a loved one, when a life leaves this world, that's a sad thing. And in my opinion, especially if they don't really know the real, true, one living God. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at it from a brown people perspective, a Black people perspective, my people perspective, sorry, white people, again, not trying to be funny, just talking about our people, right? From our perspective, she really wasn't the monarch that we needed her to be in our community. So, you know, I think we got a right to pass on, you know, having a feeling or a good feeling about the Queen or England or Great Britain for that matter.
Wow, that's good. Mr. Hicks, talk to me, sir.
Wow. Yeah. I think it's so complicated. It's like a spider web that's been drawn. It goes in so many directions, and I think that long as we try to look for some solutions in terms of our actions, what we can do. They got us locked in a box. It's too late.
Mhm.
We're too far down the road. But I think
Mr. Hicks, let me ask you
for
this
me,
question: Do you think, and
yes, sir.
and you can answer me the way that you want to answer me, it's fine. But do you think when we say we're looking for a solution, we're actually looking for a solution to other people's problems, and we're not concentrating enough on our own situations?
Well, I think that's where the rebuilding starts. It starts in each individual soul find a connection to try to see what's the unseen, to try to look behind, developing a discernment to look behind the scenes to see what's really going on. You know, as far as you go back in history, this country here, our politicians are all been corrupt. There've been different individuals inside of it that managed to do some change and good, but there's always been this struggle going on. The conspiracy
Mm-hmm.
theory, which was a term created to dissuade anyone who didn't believe Kennedy was killed by that one bullet. They call anything there out of a conspiracy when you can't prove things, and you can't prove what you can't see,
Mm-hmm.
because the hands that pull the strings on the world are hidden. But we're given a clear understanding in all the scriptures that this world is ruled by evil force.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
is totally under control of the evil force, and the only escape from this is a spiritual escape, because the changes that are going to occur in the earth are going to occur over a period of time. It's the fact that these people that strategize this whole system has been planned for thousands of years,
Mm-hmm.
not hundreds, thousands of years. It's been a plan to make this a one world government.
Mm-hmm.
It was even in the thing of building the Tower of Babel. Was everybody got together, spoke in one language, and they all agreed on one thing? These gods that look down, or I don't, it's a God they claim to look down and said they can do anything they can conceive, so let's confound them, change their language.
Mm-hmm.
So there seems to be a contradiction there, is that if everyone got together, they could change, but there are forces of power that don't want that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the solution is the full armor. It's a spiritual battle, and I think that the beginning of the staff is inside our life. I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
Been a little rough time here lately. One of my neighbors who got 3 little kids, lights got turned off. She's being evicted, and overwhelmed. When I heard some of her story, her childhood and stuff, man, it's like, God, it's so hurting. She got nobody. She was a child that was produced by outside relationship of the mother, so that she's never been accepted, and no one will help her. Well, I've got 3 of the boys staying in my other room. My son is sleeping downstairs. She's sleeping there with them, and we're trying to sort this out. But I understand why it's very difficult
Mm-hmm.
to help people, because it's going to put you in a sacrifice. I mean, I'm a solitary kind of person. I'm not very comfortable around a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But these little kids, man, they gave me a spark of life.
Yeah.
Just watching them, just watching the liberty. But it begins right where you are, looking right around you, and starting first inside your own heart.
Exactly.
Get your heart right.
There you go. That's good.
And then build and see what can help. All right.
My thing is, I want to say to you, brother, you saw a need, and you stepped up to it, and you addressed the need, man, and you did what you could do to help that family. And so I want to commend you, brother. I want to commend you, because not a lot of people will do that, especially inviting people into their homes. That's huge to me.
Well,
that's huge, brother. That's huge.
It is huge, but it was a barrier because I didn't want to do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
My son established a friendship with this family,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been carrying him because he's trying to get a job, trying to do this here, and he's working through his thing. So it's an extra load, and I was convinced that I was going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked myself, what's the difference between empathy and pity?
Mm-hmm.
I think empathy, where you could feel a person's where they are and their pain, but pity is when you when you think they can't do it for
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
And you got to do it for them. And that was my kind of dilemma. I thought that I was feeling pity for her in this family, but I was, you caught like, well, what were you doing with your money? In your head, what were you doing with your money? How you let yourself get in this spot? But I was pulled on tugged by my son. When I moved here, I went and got him from Atlanta because he was homeless. And he looked up with tears. He said, "Look, I was on the street. And I sleep between cars. I said, because it was your choice. You chose it. But everybody makes that choice." He said, I think about the people that helped me and took me in happy, and he softened my heart. And I went against because I'm saying I'm fighting the divorce, squeezing money out to do this and do that, and I don't have space for that. I don't have time to help anybody. I got to help myself. But he softened my heart, and I looked at the situation. I said, "You're right, son. I got to do something. We're going to do something. We're going to work. We're going to work this thing out for ourselves to try to do what we think is right."
Exactly.
But once I made the decision and jumped in, it was natural. Little babies taking their showers and washing their clothes. Their ability situation they're in. They've been sleeping in the dark, trying to get dressed in the dark. No refrigerator.
Wow.
Yes.
And see, those right there, man, those are real situations. And so that what you're talking about right now, what we were talking about earlier about the quote unquote the queen and all that stuff, all that's conversation. This is real life what we're talking about right now. What you're talking about and what you're doing, it occurred that a queen conversation or what she did or what, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, to the people that are that needed that help and that assistance, and you stepped up to the plate. I just want to know, brother, me and you gonna talk after the broadcast. What can I do to help? What can I do to help, man? And if anybody else have anything in their heart, man, that they want to help as well, anybody that's listening, if anybody that's listening and heard the story just now, reach out to me. Send me a message in any one of the platforms that we have. If you want to help, if you want to be a part to help and assist, please. It has nothing to do with me because it's not coming to me. I'm going to do what I could do to help, and hopefully other people will do the same things, and we can help this, help you, and help this family.
Oh, wow.
Toya with a T, what's on your heart, sis?
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
That
Toya?
was Hicks, right?
Yes.
Absolutely, Hicks. I commend you. That's the first start to unity. That's the first start of even, and I'm sorry, I used to say it all the time. I used to call them fake Christians. The ones who talk about what they gonna do, but then they go to a restaurant and won't even tip. Right? But that's the first true sign to that person who's hurting in need that God is real. All the days I done prayed, what am I gonna do? The money ain't making. How do I feel that has helped me be like this? You know what I'm saying? And when you come across someone who can really sacrifice for you, that's God right there. And a lot of us sometimes know it, even if we go off and fight it. We know it because in this day and time, don't nobody want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I commend you too, Hicks. I ain't got much because I'm going through my own issues. But despite of what I'm going through, I know it's God. I know it's not what man got going on, and I know it's not the devil. I know whatever I'm going through, I know it's God. And in this journey, I learned no matter how much or how little I got, if I got the opportunity to help someone, then I need to do that. So I got a little zeal coming over, but that's what you're doing. Whatever you got, you are utilizing that. And that's one of the keys on how bless us. So when we get ready to get blessed and everybody sees it, God, they're going to know it's God, Hicks. So, you know what I'm saying? You keep doing what you're doing, and you got my prayer energy coming that way to give you strength. And I ain't got no money, but I got a couple of coins I can send you away. And don't be scared to ask for it so you can receive it. And therefore, God gonna do his thing. But I thank you so much. Like I said, I got this little zeal I'm gonna send that way. I hope that, you know what I'm saying, God touches it and blows on it and multiply it in ways that you can't even imagine. And I hope you have peace through this whole thing, you know what I'm saying? And nothing, you know what I'm saying, nothing negative comes of it, because, the reason why some of us don't help this day and age is because a lot of us has been burned. You know what I mean? And a lot of us has been hurt trying to help people. And I really hope this is not one of those situations. I rebuke all of that and hope that this is a situation where you can, take this moment to mentor, to be a father, you know what I'm saying, to plant seeds that will carry on for generations and legacies in a positive way. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm really praying for you over here, and I appreciate that. And that just really changed everything for me. You know what I'm saying? Knowing who you are on this station. So thank you so much for stepping up, being a real man.
Absolutely. We got a few people. I think it was Joseph. I think Joseph said he wanted to help. Joseph, you what's on your heart, brother?
Oh yeah, man. I love when we get involved and help other people in their pain, man, because we all gonna be there or have been there if we're not there already. So whatever, whenever we can help each other, man, I think we should do that.
Absolutely.
Because it always come back. I'm a witness. Every time I cast my bread on the water, it is always returned. And I don't do it for it to return. I just do it because I just love people, man.
Yeah.
But the history, and I love what that brother said about the system, man. And I love what all the callers are. I mean, what all the callers say. In 1884, I'm sorry. Between 1884 and 85, I think the Berlin Conference took place, where 14 Western powers divided up Africa and Asia among themselves. All right, and that's when the colonization period began. Before that, but that's when they decided that this is what they were going to do. So we are in a system, as the brother said, has been playing a long time ago, and we're catching up, many of us. And one of the ways that the system thrives is on ignorance. Because when people are ignorant about what someone's doing to them, they can continue doing it. But when you are aware, just like I always mention Brother W.B. Du Bois, I think he was the only black man at the Peace of Versailles at the end of World War I, when the whole world was fighting. And the world was fighting because of Berlin Conference, when all those countries were divided up between those 14 Western countries. But W.B. Du Bois, became a Pan-Africanist. He realized a long time ago that Africans throughout the diaspora, South America, the islands, Europe, wherever black folks were, we should come together. Marcus Garvey took it to a whole nother level. You understand? But that's the way that's the thinking we need to be of. If they're gonna be of the white supremacy thinking, we must counter that in our thinking. Our thinking cannot be Eurocentric. We can study the Europeans, study their machinations and things, but that's not who we are as a recipient of colonization, colonialism, and slavery. Our thinking got to be totally different. I just had to put that out there.
Absolutely. Brother Pete, you said you have a resource as well that the brother could use, man. Mr. Hicks could use. Tell us about that.
When a Street Groomers president, L.A. Pink, runs a community boutique, and the community boutique consists of free clothes, food, resources, toilet paper, tissue, laundry detergent, dish detergent, underwear, shoes, pretty much the basic staples that you need. So that's the whole point of the community boutique, and it's all free. So as long as there's a need and they're doing all that they can for themselves, and it's just still an issue, that is the reason why our dear sister and the president of the Street Groomers, L.A. Pink, started the community boutique way before she ever became the president of the Street Groomers. So certainly we'll make sure you're able to reach out directly to her, and we can send a little, a contribution ourselves. We're more than willing to do that. And to our dear brother that did that, my brother, you are representing us, whether you know it or not, fully in the lineage and heritage of who and what we are. as flesh and blood sentient beings on this planet. That's the heritage that we come from, all of us. There was never someone that had a need, and that need wasn't addressed by those local in the area, what we call the community. And for us, everyone on this line, it sounds as if they are more than willing to do all that they can quickly with no hesitation. So what music or what drum, what deception are we listening to that's trying to convince us that we are not our forefathers and our foremothers, that we don't give honor to our forefathers and our foremothers and the foundation of who and what we are as a people? We are still the same people.
Yeah.
This is why knowing ourselves, being ourselves, loving ourselves, doing for ourselves, doing cooperative things with each other is so important. Regardless of your spiritual, your religion, of your formation, or your association, your affiliation, or your make-believe education. We need to realize the present and real situation that we are in as a people, and realize that we are still the same people.
Exactly. Hey, Brother Pete, is Pete is our number still the last 3241?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Okay,
If not, just hit my line and we'll get that correction immediately.
Okay, gotcha.
But I want to send out honor and respect to my dear brother, my brother, on behalf of us as a people, and in your mindset to do all that you can, brother. I give you honor.
Yes.
And I give you the highest of respect.
Absolutely. Rico, talk to me, brother.
See, you said two key words, man: pity and empathy. And that's the reason why you shouldn't have to judge. You shouldn't be so quick to judge people from the outside looking in, because this situation, I'm familiar with what he's talking about. And it's easy to sit back and judge people, but then not understand there's a cause and effect of why a situation is the way it is. But see, on the material side, we'll look and say, well, look at this, they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing that. But me, just like his, you know what I'm saying, we say, well, you know what, it got to be a reason behind that. And then after you realize that, you have other people on the outside looking in as judging. Well, they making bad decisions, they doing this and that. Okay, maybe it is. But what them children got to do with that? Y'all know I'm always going to go back to that. See, and that's why his empathy kicked in. If you listen to what he said, look, man, he went against the grain. He didn't want his space about he wanted his space. But he thought about the most important issue, the most vulnerable people in this situation were those same little three boys that I've been seeing. The same little three boys that made me say, well, you know what, y'all, I'll go ahead and lend them some money so they can get some gas to go back and forth to work. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Because if she can't get to work, them kids can't get what they need to get. And I'm looking at them kids and they need what they need. So, man, that is huge, man.
Yes, sir.
For him to open up his home like that.
And that's why I say
that's the brother's keeper.
Exactly.
Anybody could go back and say, well, you know what? She made bad choices. But he said he listened to her and he realized, man, you know what? This woman don't try to figure out her way in a life and in a world where she ain't had nobody. She ain't had nobody. I mean, she not even my grandma, but her daddy and her mama just left her out here to do what she do, and she know them.
Wow.
So I mean, man, I mean that's I think that's huge, man. I mean, we want to talk about the system. We could talk about how the system created that. A lot of people gonna say, well, you know what? You still have choices. But at the same time, too, just like we were talking about with the Queen, they created conditions.
And that's why I said, Rico,
created conditions.
And that's why I said, Rico, when I was talking about Rico, that's why I said when I was talking about, we could talk about the Queen and all the other things, but this to me, this is more important. This is reality. This is real. This is these people's lives that we're talking about, and we have a direct route where we can make a difference. And so that's why, exactly. I curve conversations like the Queen. I curve all that conversation in a minute for something like this. But go ahead, brother.
Exactly. I mean, we went from somebody that has no desires and need for nothing to somebody that needs a place to lay her children's head. But now we you know, listen, I caught a little backlash, man, because I was like, man, it's sort of confusing me to keep seeing the conditioning of my people on Facebook and on social media with the little teardrop emojis. We lost the queen, God bless the queen, saying all these little cliches. God bless the queen. You know that little stuff they say, they all patriotic. And I'm like, man, wait a minute. I said, man, this make me feel like I'm watching Jews mourn Hitler. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Can you imagine that? That's how conditioned we are. We are conditioned to give this woman energy and mourn her and make this the topic of our discussion when we walking around in our own neighborhood seeing people holding signs up just to feed their children.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you know, they got us conditioned. They got us programmed, and sometimes we don't know what to talk about, so we talk about what they talk about. And we follow what they lead us to think about and make a distraction of what's important. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes you have got to have a little distraction. You got to have some recreation. If you don't, then how your children going to have fun? How they going to have an enjoyable time? How they going to ever have some laughter, some joy? There got to be some happiness in this, you know, so every now and then I'm going to get distracted, and when I see somebody as I'm walking and I get on the Alabama shirt, I'm going to address the game.
Don't talk about them. Don't talk about them. No fellas, man. Don't do that, Rico. Don't do that. Let me keep this thing going, man. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Cassandra, I know your heart says, where you at right now?
You know, my motto for my ministry is no one can do everything, but everyone can do something. So I commend our brother for what he's doing. I know that you'll give us information and we can do what we can. Like I said, we can't do everything, but we can do something. To sit back and see people suffer and do nothing is not even an option. It shouldn't be for any of us, especially those of us that call ourselves Christians, Muslims, whatever, Buddhists, whoever you are, or even if you're atheist, if you don't believe in anything, you don't know God, you don't believe in that, whatever, you still, some type of compassion should come from you towards people. So, you know, I commend the brother. I'll get some information from you later on, and we can do what we can do.
Absolutely.
You know, that's all that God asks. We do what we can do.
Mr. Hicks, do you have a Cash App or how do you want to receive the funds? Do you have a Cash App or Zelle, or what do you have? Oh, I'm sorry, I had you on mute. You had some background noise. I'm sorry about that. Talk to me, sir.
Oh, sorry. I said a lot of times when you're in a crisis situation, you just can't see your strength and your assets. When as I sit down and look at her situation, her the father of these children was killed, died. So she's got funds, she's got things. It's just being so oppressed by how big being overwhelmed by the problem. She don't see that she has solutions. So I think it's just a matter of time and her looking at things in a different light.
Okay.
But it's when people so the prayers are great. The prayers, if I need anything, I'll do it. She has children, so she has food stamps. She's got food coming in. She got the system and helping in certain kind of ways. It's just being so confused and making bad decisions.
Yeah. It's the weight of the moment has weighed down on her a little bit. Basically, what you're saying.
Yes.
And she needs some clarity. Yeah, she needs some clarity. Okay.
Car got towed. She lost her vehicle, and a lot of things fell. And all the while she's walking around, and her shame and pride won't let her go to her family. And when she do go, she's rejected, and she don't want to. She's so ashamed. She won't talk about it. So I think it's just a matter of getting her mental a little straight, getting a little space.
Okay.
And recover the part, man. I think it's possible.
Let her breathe. Let her breathe again, basically.
Yeah, just breathe for a minute.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Mr. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, brother.
Walaikum salam.
we talking this morning about actually we transition over to how can we help each other and how can we come together as a people and make sure that we uplift each other, basically in a nutshell what we're talking about. What do you say to that?
Well, I'm glad to hear what's going on with what y'all talking about today. I think that's correct. You know, we have to have empathy and try to do what we do. I don't know if y'all looked at some of my pages. A little while ago, I had went down there to Kent City and tried to help a couple of families down there, a couple of people. It didn't turn out the way I wanted to, but, you know, there were people interested. There was all people. But I just found recently, again, they have raided Tent City, and Tent City is down up on the Interstate I-20, 75, 85, where they could junction at. They raided that area again and cleaned them people out from under there. And the city's opining and saying, oh, what can we do? And we try to get all these services for these people, millions of dollars. And you go down there and talk to these people individually, you get a whole new different program than what these millions of dollars are talking about. Also, I think that being concerned about what's going on in Atlanta and everything, a lot of y'all know that a lot of us are just a day away, a week away, a month away from getting evicted from our premises because of the high tax prices on our property and also the high property. The other thing I like to mention too is that there's a governor race going on in Georgia. And one thing is our children are behind on education because of COVID, whatever. And we got one, Stacey wants to raise the amount of money that the teachers make $75,000. The teachers are quitting not just because of money, but because of lack of resources, and then now they could be convicted or thrown out of their education because of what they teach in their school or what they're allowed to teach. And we have a governor that's talking about giving money to students and people. Of course, we know what people they're going to be to help to raise their educational level, to get it back to grade level, wherever that is. And but we hear all these things, but we don't pay attention to the big picture and also the little picture, right? That people are suffering and going to continue to suffer if we don't get involved and start doing things in the community. The murder rate in Atlanta is atrocious. It's atrocious, right? And yet we still forget that we as a community have the possibility of changing these things, not by passing laws, but getting personally involved into a lot of situations that goes on in our community, I believe. You know, so I'm glad to hear that people are talking on this vein and level, because these are the things that make us. We are a people, whether we want to admit to it or not. We're not just Americans. We don't blend in with the American ethnos. We are a people that we've been categorized as a people simply because of the color of our skin, you know, and only that, not in regards to our nationalities or our heritage. So we must also identify these things and work collectively for the good of the whole. And that's the thing I've been saying since I've, you know, for years now. So, but anyway, I'm going to go down there and try to identify these people and see, and let people know how these people hurting again, inshallah. I'm going to try to get down my bike and ride down there and interview these people I've interviewed before, let you see their condition and let you make your own opinion. But I'm blessed. I feel blessed to hear the conversation that we're taking, this route we're taking. Other than God save the Queen, the most atrocious, one of the murderous dictators, and for you Christians, they were worshiping the Queen at the Anglican British Church. I hope you understand what all that means, right? Yeah. These are the sons and daughters of the Jesus that everybody talks about. The daughters and sons of Mary. If you follow the history of your religion, and as far as Mary going to France, being the wife of Jesus, and her and his mother in France, and that's why a lot of people are such a big king of that lineage. But anyway, I'm glad everybody's just standing up and thinking about their own. You know what I mean? That brings my heart joy.
Good deal. Mr. Hicks. Mr. Hicks. Mr. Hicks, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I hear you.
Okay, just send something over to you via your Cash App, and I also added your Cash App for everybody that's watching. That's his Cash App on the screen right there. And so if you want to help and assist in any kind of way on any one of the platforms that you see, the Cash App is actually there right now, so you can send something. Did you receive a Cash App from me?
Let me see if I can work this phone and get back and look.
Don't worry about it. You ain't got to do
crazy.
it. You ain't got to do it. If for whatever reason you did not, by the end of the broadcast, call me back and let me know.
I will.
Okay.
But listen, I don't want all these pats on the back.
No.
Past so many other, I walked past so many other people that I could have helped, and this is just me stopping down and saying, man, I've been walking past this stuff for years, and I think in my life I felt that those 15 years I worked as a social worker with juvenile, that I had completed my redemption for my past. I know that it's ongoing. It's never completed.
Brother, we can't
gotta follow the spirit of this.
Absolutely, but brother, we can't do anything. None of us could do anything about the things or the times that we did not, but we can appreciate each other when we do. And so this is a situation. This is an opportunity in a situation right now where you did something, and we're just acknowledging, man, and appreciate the fact that you did something, and you made a difference, and you're making a difference. We can't go back to yesterday, but we can.
Use your words of to God be the glory.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, you ain't getting no arguments out of me when you say that there, brother. Toya with a T talk. Right. Toya with a T talk to me. What's on your heart?
So that's, modesty sticking out. I don't want no pat on the back. But I think when we start correcting the error of our ways, it is about a pat on the back. It's about an insurance that we appreciate and remind people and let them know that we appreciate them and the things that they do. You know what I'm saying? And that's a part of unity and working together. That's a part of creating a positive environment. You understand what I'm saying? And like I said, all of us have been on the show. All of us, I'm quite sure, at one point in time have tried to help someone and probably got burnt, and we reeled back too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us on here has probably received help at times and have given help sometimes. You know what I'm saying? The only tricky part is when you get those people who continue to get and don't give back. You know what I'm saying? Like never give back. And that's the part that burns. You know what I'm saying? So again, a panel of like-minded people, that's just what we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? We're going to say, hey, good job. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what can we do to assist? You know what I'm saying? And truthfully, when you're a real human being that's learned, the error of your ways, that's God saying that's what you're supposed to get. You know what I'm saying? Life and life more abundantly. You know what I'm saying? And the only way that you're going to get it more abundantly is especially when we work together, because my salary might not be nothing alone, but together, when we all put it together, that's going to be an abundant salary. You know what I'm saying? An abundance of prosperity all the way around. And I think, again, that's one of the first steps and one of the first keys it takes. You got to set the precedent, and then that attracts others. You know what I'm saying? So just go ahead and take that appreciation and just chill out, King. You know what I'm saying? Receive that. You know what I'm saying? Be grateful for it. And don't tell nobody not to tell you your appreciation. Because then when people start using you, you're going to be like, well, why ain't nobody showing me no appreciation?
Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Sister Navy. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm exhausted. How y'all doing this morning?
Man, we are hyena, happy, elephant, elated, and porcupine proud.
Well, all right then. Let me get on board.
That's where we are. Let me ask you this question. Switching up just a little bit. Do we always pay attention to the need that's right before us, or are we just so caught up in this thing called life that we don't pay attention to our needs and the needs of the people that's around us?
That's a good question. Honestly, I'm gonna say yes and no. I think we have to see it a few times in order for us to get it. It's not that we don't. It's like seeing something or reading something and not comprehending what you're reading. Like we see it, it's like, okay, hey, I'm resting, I'm going to work, or hey, I'm tired from being on call the night before. So, I see you over here by the stop sign with the sign, or I see you struggling to even get something in your car. But I don't think that it doesn't register to us until we see it a few times. And oftentimes, for some of us, it doesn't register until it's knocking on our front door or until it's in our own backyard to where we can relate to someone.
Mm-hmm.
But for a lot of us that may be on this panel, we may be a little bit more quick to spring into action, or at least at the very least sit back and observe
Mm-hmm.
and see what is taking place and how the need can be met for it or not. Because most of us know what it's like to be either in those positions or can at least empathize
Mm-hmm.
for being in similar positions.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. That's another beautiful day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Same question, man. Do we always pay attention to the need of ourselves and the people that's around us, or is life moving so fast that we don't even pay attention? What do you say to that?
Ooh. Speaking in general,
Yes.
an observation, it's a lot of times it seems like more people are focused on wants and don't quite understand what needs are.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it comes to the kids and everything else. And that's something I've been actually, oddly enough, I've had like 3 days of this kind of conversation on this topic. And it always seems like the hardest thing is learning what a need is. And I think a lot of people don't know what need means. Like, we need food, we need water. Yet a lot of times people, well, I want soda. So they'd rather have a soda instead of what they need.
Mm.
Trying to give a simple example. I hope
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
And it goes from like something that simple to things that are even more complicated. You know, you got a broken couch, but they'd rather go spend it on something else instead of, you know, getting working furniture, or instead of, man, there's so many examples of it. I always found it interesting of, you know, how many people actually know what they need,
Mm-hmm.
much less be able to give what someone needs.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Phone lines are open. Let me go to Rico. Rico, one of my favorite songs, man. You know, I love my music. Is Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror. And we're talking about helping each other and doing different things for each other. He got a line in that song. He said, I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their needs? Man, I quote that all the time, man, because a lot of times life, and not because you don't want to, but because life moves so quickly. Sometimes we just get so caught up and we don't take the time to stop and say, hold on. Like Mr. Hicks did, hold on, there's a need there. There's a need. Let me address that need. Rico, why do we get so busy sometimes? Why do we get so caught up on everyday life that we don't take the time?
Because we get caught up in desires and rewards for ourselves.
Mm.
And in the process of trying to not only have those desires and rewards, looking for pleasure, but at the same time, you got a necessity to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that becomes your main motivation, your main ambition, is making sure I'm all right.
Mm.
As long as
Wow.
I'm good, I
Wow.
don't care what's going on with nobody else.
Mm.
I done heard so many people say it.
Mm.
You know, I mean, that's the society we live in. It's almost like a dog-eat-dog world. And to a point, you know, for some people that have made it and made the right decision, they could easily come back and chastise or condemn somebody for bad decisions they made and say, well, you knew right from wrong. You put yourself in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, like I said, when you start looking to see who's all involved and what is going to be the effect of this cause, this condition, will these children turn out later on okay? Or will they be the ones that we read about in the newspaper and that we sit back and condemn for not having the right direction, being misguided? not having a positive support system.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because it's easy for us to talk about the conditions that we're in, but who took the time out to go and volunteer to talk to kids at the Boys and Girls Club that don't have fathers? You know, and it is not to actually, you know, be questioning people, but if you look around, there's a lot of people in need, a lot of children in need.
Yes, sir.
If you look in their eyes, they don't even have to say anything to you. You can see the pain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes, don't give me wrong, sometimes you see people out, you know, panhandling for money or whatever, they scamming.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to look into the eyes of the children.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the children are well programmed and conditioned to play the game just right because they know they can play on people's sympathies, depending on where they are. But then at the same time, you know, the people that like to give charity, some people only like to give charity when it can be seen. They do it for a big show, a big exhibition. Look, y'all, look what I'm doing. Man, it's funny that we talk about this, man. It's crazy because I was thinking about this yesterday. I remember when everybody was going through this little, it wasn't a challenge, but it was just something people were doing at Christmas and Thanksgiving. Going out giving plates to the homeless and giving shoes to the homeless and taking shoes off their feet. And you know, we live in a very material world.
Yes, sir.
So this one guy, he thought it was going to be very admirable of him to come out and get this homeless man some Jordans. Brand new Jordans in the box. He gave the man some brand new socks. And he gave him those Jordans, man. And he said, that man was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. He like, man, these Jordans, man, these are special edition, this and 13, this and that, you know what I'm saying? Then he came back later on and happened to catch the same dude standing out there in the snow in his socks. He said, man, wait a minute. He said, what are shoes at? What are shoes at? He was like, man, I didn't need them, man. I gave them to somebody else that needed them. He was like, you didn't need them? He was like, what you do? He said, I gave them away. Somebody else needed them. He was like, but man, you out here in your socks. He was like, but somebody else needed the shoes. It's okay. It's okay. He's like, no, it ain't okay, man. That was some brand new Jordans. That man didn't think nothing about them being no Jordans.
Yeah. He saw the need.
He didn't think nothing about it. So it was like that charity was done for show. And it backfired because he didn't realize this man's mind wasn't right. He didn't need shoes. He needed some mental help.
Exactly.
He needed a different type of assistance.
30
but
seconds.
to go viral. To go viral, that's what he did. So, I mean, you know, we got to be sincere and genuine, and at the same time, we got to make sure that, you know, we're not being too judgmental, but at the same time, not being gullible.
Exactly.
You know, we can't judge people for where they are all the time. Believe me, there is always a reason for a person being in the situation that they're in. Whether they made choices or not is the reason why they made those choices.
Yep. Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. We're talking right now is the lyrics to the Michael Jackson song, man, and I'm asking a question based on that. The lyric says, "Man in the Mirror," one of my favorite songs. I've quoted this before on here. "I see the children in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their needs?" Is life moving so fast for all of us that we don't even take the time and see? Because what Mr. Hicks did this morning, what he talked about this morning, I think was absolutely powerful. He saw a need. There was a young lady with her kids that was about to get kicked out, lost the cards. A lot of different issues happened, and he saw a need, and he addressed the need. He addressed the need and brought them into his home to make sure that they were okay. Do we take the time? And good morning, Leonard. How are you doing this morning? Do we take the time to pay attention to each other's needs, or is life moving so fast we don't even have the time to recognize? Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow fam.
Good morning to you.
What we got going this morning?
What do you say to that, man? Do we take the time to recognize other people's needs, man, or is life moving so fast we don't even have the time to even acknowledge it?
I think all of us recognize the other people's needs. It's just sometimes there's a recognition of needs, and then there's what can you do to resolve it? Either you can or you can't. So I think a lot of people do for people. That's not so uncommon. A lot of people who see people in a bad way that if they can help, they help them. I think about that with either folks on the street, and they right here on like this exit, for instance, when people are standing around asking for money, or they have time, and you see people handing money out to them. So, then, like say for instance, even the Hope organization that I donate to, and Inspire organizations that come by to pick up all types of things for people in situations of transition or suffering from domestic violence and things like that, and have needs for things. So there's a lot of ways that people help other people.
That's good. That's good. Paul, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing all right. Hope everyone's doing good on that end. About questions about like where you're not noticing the needs of others.
Yes.
And I feel like, you know, well, where I live in LA, we have a huge homeless crisis. So, you know, there's only so much an individual can do. And
Hey, Paul, are they still trying to shut down the little tent city?
Yeah, well, yeah, there's all kinds of different plans in the state. Yeah, but I mean, it seems like they're not very efficient in how they're doing these processes for helping the people. Like, it seems like they're wasting money. You know how bureaucracies go.
Yeah.
You know, like, I guess like what I want to say about like needs is someone else mentioned it earlier, is you know, sometimes we don't even know what we need. Like, we think we need a particular thing, like a material thing, but really it's like a deeper need, like a spiritual need that people have. And then, you know, sometimes like a false prophet leads them different ways, you know, like all of these cults, like the Trump cult, for example. You know, these people think he's their savior, that he's gonna, you know, that he's a man of God, and you know, he's you know, all this stuff that's just absurd. So, you know, there's a lot of people who are suffering, they don't even know, you know. And we as a teacher, I've seen a lot of kids in the last few years who have a lot more emotional problems. And so, you know, something's not happening at home. Or, you know, I do the best I can, like, to help them, like, you know, we all have, you know, needs. We need a little downtime. We need a little time to just chill and talk to friends. We need healthy food, like the things we actually need. We need people who care about us. You know, people who are going to treat us with respect, and we need healthy food. We need, you know, our basic needs met and all that. But yeah, I just see like there's, you know, I used to be an atheist, but you know, just when you see how much people suffer, you have to acknowledge people have a spiritual need, and beyond the material needs. So, and then they can't fill that need, so they try to fill it with drugs or joining a cult or food and all these other bad things that are bad for them. So
exactly. That's good. Toya with a T, talk to me, sis. Toya, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You sound sad, sis.
No, I'm not sad. No, I had a statement. I'm actually kind of thrown off. I'm doing two things at one time, but I just got my focus someplace else too. But no, I wanted to make a response early. I think I heard Badger trying to talk about, you know, some of the choices and decisions that we make. And I think that one of the things that we don't do is that we don't address certain issues. Just because I help you mean it got to be unspoken. And that's not the truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you about what you did wrong and what we need to correct. And some of it might be money management. You understand what I'm saying? So the conversations need to be had on what we're going to do different. Because we have a saying in management: either you don't know or you don't care. And either way, I'm here to make sure you're not capable of saying one or the two. I'm going to teach you what you need to know. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't care, then we ain't going to be able to share in the same space, because I'm not going to be putting this energy, you know what I'm saying, into trying to help you be in a better position, and you really don't care because of whatever, you know what I'm saying, the issue is. But I think that, you know, when we start to extend helping hands, and I think this is something that society doesn't do. They have punishment, but they don't have rehabilitation. I think it's the same way with us when we start to assist helping hands, in our own households. You know what I'm saying? We have to have certain rules and regulations for a reason. We have to have certain conversations for a reason. We have to sit down and really talk about a plan, because we don't do that. And we are just wandering aimlessly in this world with no direction and no guidance. And it's because we don't have a standard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We in our households, a lot of us do not have a standard and a plan. And when you're here, this is the goal. You understand what I'm saying? But every other institution does. You know what I'm saying? Every other institution we indulge in has a specific point and a goal and what direction you're going to go, whether you work for that company or whether you enroll in that school. But when it comes to individual households, oftentimes it don't. And when you do see that, it will be those who we're all going to pledge Delta. We're all going to be doctors. We're all military, because that specific family has set a precedent, a standard, and a goal on, the legacy that they're going to, leave, or, the goal and the point on what kind of people they're going to be. And I think that we drop the ball oftentimes as, family and family members getting caught up in society on setting precedents for our household. So, when we give helping hands, I don't think that we should be on a mum's the word, nor do I think that we should be more quiet because, they're grown and they have kids, and assume that these grown people in this situation know better. We need to have conversations and make sure they know better so they can do better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, does anybody have anything they want to say? We're going to transition over to our topic of the day. Anybody have anything they want to say on this topic before we move on? Okay, good deal, good deal. Navy, gonna come to you first. Are you there? Navy, are you there?
Hey, yes, sir. Can you skip me right quick?
I can. Ibrahim, we're gonna start it off with you, brother. Ibrahim, you there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is our topic of the day. And I'm going to ask you the question because I've seen it in a lot of different cities. I'm sure you've seen it as well. America, they say, is supposedly one of the richest countries in the world. One of the richest countries. I'm not going to say but one of the richest countries. Would you agree with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. One of the richest.
Okay, so if that be the case, how could people be subjected to drinking dirty water in such a rich, wealthy country?
Well, hey, good question. It's capitalism. About it's not about taking care of people. You know what I mean? It's about living off the people. It's capitalism. It was seen that it'd be a simple issue to fix, right?
Yes.
But I live here in Atlanta. You live around Atlanta, and if you remember, a couple years back, how they were fixing all the water problems they were having up in Buckhead, in the old pipe,
the
old systems. I lived in Boston, and we always thought the whole city was on a boil water ban for months and days until they fixed the problem. So it starts off as a general issue, but the people they fix and take care of is the people of higher economic wealth group. Yeah. It goes with the red line and the blue line. I don't want to, talk much about it. I know y'all heard about the red line.
Yeah, absolutely.
But those are people that they fix up. They let other people go. Maybe y'all don't remember, but 2002, they had a major flood that wiped out Van City. It was a 6-foot wall of sewage that would come from the International Trade Center and the old stadium. And now they made a nice little pretty park out of it. You know what I mean? And the underground stream is revealed as a lake and everything, and you got to go down there in Van City to see it. But those people lost homes, and some people lost their lives in the filth and the waste, right? 6-foot wall. Cars were covered with raw sewage. I don't want to details about that, but but we care less about those things that happen in our community. We blame the people in Van City for letting the community get in such a worse state. And we forget that the lack of care and consideration they did to areas like that, the city, that people were paying their taxes, their property taxes, but yet had less care and help. you know, and the people that provided for, you know. So now we see upbuilding Atlanta, and we see with a takeover in a lot of areas that were predominantly black, and it's doing a lot better. Sewage systems, you know, I just go on and on. But we see this, and Atlanta's building south now, you know, to further destroy all the other historic black communities by, you know, with the well, anyway, it's been on for so many years. I'm going to get into it, but yeah, I think that that we're going to see this problem consistently. A lot of our systems are ancient, 100-some years old in a lot of our big cities, but they won't fix. They take the last people to fix it in the black areas, or the people of color or low economic areas. I'll throw that in. Because I know Brother Leonard's on there. He's gonna say something about that. But that's the way it goes. You know what I mean? And the only way you can do it, that the working class people got to stand up for what's right in their community, what they're paying for.
Good deal. Good deal.
Pretty much it.
Okay, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We definitely love to have your input. Let me go to Mr. Hicks. Let me go to you. What do you say to that, man? America is supposed to be one of the richest countries, or one of the richest countries in the world. Why do we have to deal? Why do people have to deal with? I say we, but you know, why do people have to deal with drinking dirty water in a country as rich as this? Mr. Hicks, what do you say to that?
I think the reality that we are living in the fall of America, in the fall of a civilization. So all the systems of rule are corrupted. You know, with just the system. The system is corrupt. If you can cut costs on one end to put more money in the coffers' pockets, that's what's done. But it's done on all levels. Two-tiered systems of justice. The criminal system, all the systems. And I was thinking that as you're talking about myself, and I was trying to go back and pinpoint when the change happened. I think it was 2016, and I think that the whole game plan was shifted to a different level when Trump became president, and that the whole everything leading to that. Because from that point to just recently, I've been caught up in the energies of all these things around me, you know, and the pressures with COVID and the restrictions and all the stuff and all the games that was played with that. I got so cynical and caught up in the pressure, you know, economy, that I wasn't noticing a lot of things around me. I was looking at things through an eye of, and I just couldn't understand why I was seeing things and nobody around me was seeing it, and they didn't want me to even talk about what I saw.
Okay.
That I was in conflict because I was seeing things different, and I couldn't understand why people can't see the game, can't see the act, the news report, everybody in the tunnel saying the same things, the comedians all around, or this whole thing. And I try to figure out, why is there such a struggle to fight a philosophical point that let's take care of this country and let's get out of all this money we send to Ukraine, all this stuff we send. We can't do it with the homeless people inside our streets, living all this situation, but we still send billions and trillions of dollars, and I think what it made me do, it made me miss the things that were in front of me. What's wrong, bro? I'm sorry, I'm babysitting too.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that I think that I even miss things like this. This little boy, I've been here a year. I've watched this for a year. I've seen things happen. I just didn't notice it that I could do. But yeah, wow. It's good to see things again. It's good to look from your heart instead of your mind and your intellect and information you have, because that's what I have. A whole lot of information. I read, I study, and it gets me bogged down. But somewhere in the process, my heart got hard.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508
What you want? Come
924-3521. I'm gonna mute your line there, Mr. Hicks, for a second there. Let me go to Willa. Willa, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, good morning, Raheem.
Good
morning, Morning Glow.
Hey, good morning to you, sis. Good morning. We asking the question, America is supposed to be one of the richest countries in the world, So I'm asking the question, why is it that certain individuals have to deal with drinking dirty water in such a rich country? Willa, talk to me. Explain that to me.
Well, you know what's on my heart with that, Raheem, is I look at it as like a job. Somebody has dropped the ball. Somebody has dropped the ball and not paying attention. And they're not paying attention because they either incompetent or they just don't care. You were talking earlier about the essentials that we need, the food, the water, the things. Those are essential things that we need. And water is one of them that we truly need. So if our water system is messed up, that means that everybody knows that it's messed up and nobody's doing anything about it. And it's because the people are not voicing their opinions by standing up for a change in the system. So what they're doing is they're just allowing it to happen. So what they're doing now is they're selling spring water, bottled water, because you find now that a lot of people are using bottled water. They created another area of consumption where the businessman to be able to make more money, and then they're adding more money to the city, state, or federal system. So you just gotta watch how the government do certain things. Like I don't know if you just remember how we were short on chicken, how we were short on baby peppers and baby formula, and they're doing it one step at a time. And the way that they're doing it, and the reason why they're doing it is to increase the prices.
Yeah.
They're extorting us through the prices. And you look at the gas. Come on now. Now they're gonna push gas all the way up to $5, $6, but then when it get down to $4, their original plan, you now think you got a deal. So
yeah.
somebody is dropping the ball,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not doing anything about it, right, Raheem?
Exactly.
We're just going with the flow.
Just going with the flow. Absolutely, absolutely. Paul, what's on your heart, brother? What do you say to that?
Yeah, I agree with that. One thing I would say is, well, I mean, people like to criticize President Biden, but you know, he's passed some good legislation. Democrats have passed some good stuff. They passed this infrastructure bill, gonna replace lead pipes all over the world, and we know that lead is really harmful to young children. You know, so you know, obviously government can't fix everything, but these problems are huge. These problems are bigger than an individual can do. So the Republicans don't want to do anything. That is their entire strategy is government should do nothing. So I mean, you know, I think, you know, some people I've seen that more Black and Latinos are becoming Republicans. I would just like to remind those people that the only group of people, the only political party that actually is talking about improving things for working class people is the Democratic Party. So that's how I feel about it.
Good deal. Good. Toy, you want to talk to me, sis?
No, they hit it on the head, but specifically what Willa was talking about this water. Yeah, let's talk about Flint, Michigan. But let's talk about the whole aerodynamic of the United States, from our nuclear power plants to our regular manufacturing plants that we know people in those surrounding areas have gotten cancer. Let's talk about these conveniences we enjoy, our air conditions, our cars that we drive, and how it commits to causing cancer. Let's talk about these antennas of the phones that we use to carry these very waves right here that's put into our communities that causes cancer and increase things that goes on. Lead does not only affect children, it affects us too. But not even that. Maybe we've gotten into the elaborate scheme of what they say. Maybe that's why we need a vaccine, so we cannot drink dirty water no more. What was the water before we started becoming civilized? That's what we're calling this right now. Before before we came, this Western culture? What were we drinking then? Now we can't drink dirty water. You understand what I'm saying? Now we can't eat certain foods due to what? Maybe some of these vaccines they be giving us. I mean, I'm just saying, the elaborate illusion that it takes to live in these United States is something that if we don't pay attention is very irreversible. You understand what I'm saying? We've gone outside of living our own power, living our own land, and be able to do everything, to being dependent on everything that they create or send our way. So it's a very tricky situation being a human in this day and age, because the things that are necessarily good for us probably aren't the things that we want to indulge in anymore. You know what I'm saying? And all of this stuff we can't really blame on the government. It's us. We make the government. You know what I'm saying? I've been watching little restaurant clips about workers who call themselves putting on blast the restaurant they work at and how they do these things. You know what I'm saying? But you the worker. You do that. You know what I'm saying? The company has a way they're supposed to do it. And then you're the one that takes it in control. And that's what you do. And you make the company. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's a lot of what I see going on in the world today, right? We say America, but there are people running America. So if there are new people, because they even say you don't need to involve it's church over state. You know what I'm saying? Don't involve church. But all them devils up in there, what you mean don't involve a church? You need to involve something. All them devils that's running around causing all this, you know what I'm saying, mass confusion. So it's like this very system. In order for it to be dismantled, we have to start moving differently and operating out of the norm and putting the right people in these systematic positions if we're going to ever change anything.
Exactly. Let me go to, we're going to go in this order. We're going to go Badger. Let me see, I got it right now. Here we're going to go Badger, Leonard, and then Rico. Badger, what's on your heart?
Man, to me, this is one of those things of looking at the way society is currently. More people are focused on what they can make in what money can they put in their pocket versus helping anybody. So when in a society that's like that, of course it's going to be rich, because the people that have the money don't give it up, and they'll do anything they can to keep it. So what makes us be up there, and if not the richest country in the world, are the people at the top. And the rest of us are just sitting around waiting to be able to have anything.
Okay. So how can we, even though the country being as rich as they say this country is, how can people be subjected to having to drink dirty water?
Because it costs money to fix it. And then it's going to be dependent on if the people in that area are willing to fix it.
Wow.
Look how long it took them to fix Flint. Austin, Texas, recently had to be put under a boil water, and they blamed it on how many people were moving there. They weren't ready for it. So, like, there's example after example after example of people in certain positions just not caring. I mean, it's insane. They'd rather put in the cheapest stuff possible than making sure other human beings are good. I mean, Texas is the right to work state, so they'll man, I could go on and on about this.
30 seconds.
It depends on who has the money and who cares.
Wow. Leonard, what do you say to that, man? In one of the richest countries in the world, how could people be subjected to drinking dirty water? You know firsthand about the situation over in Flint. Why should that be an issue? North Carolina had an issue with water. It was a little country town in North Carolina, same situation. I know Augusta, Georgia, they had the same situation, man. They even had, in Augusta, Georgia, it went so far, they had put something in the land and people had to move off their land because it was killing them. But go ahead.
Well, first of all, I would like to say that the issue has nothing to do with the wealth of America.
Mm-hmm.
About public administration.
Mm-hmm.
It's about who you allow in authority where you live to make decisions. Michigan began to decline with their ability to do what they needed to do when they, first of all, the first thing was what? Getting rid of affirmative action.
Mm.
They had a governor that, in order to supplant the authority of the mayors in predominantly African-American cities, they put in city managers. Hear me when I say it's because it's going on everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Usually everywhere you can find out, there's a large majority of African-Americans. There's this city manager aspect that is really undermining the authority of your elected Black mayors.
Mm.
And so this is what happened in Flint. People with an agenda who was dedicated to making it happen did what they were going to do, and you didn't show up when you should have. When you don't show up, other people's agenda takes place. If you're going to let somebody make changes, they're going to do it because they're doing it in their best interest.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how long it took them before they realized when they did the big thing. This was probably early 70s as it related to lead and paint.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to understand that sitting on your behind blaming somebody else for what's going on in your neighborhood really ain't the best approach to getting things changed. It's just like with anything. Meetings are posted for you to object, to do all these things to get in the way. But you'd rather sit at home and blame somebody else. You don't have any leverage if you don't vote. And people who think that they're voting, pull the numbers up and see how you're voting in certain areas. I guarantee you it will be indicative of the situations where you live.
Mm.
And it's something as simple as getting out to vote, to change the leadership, to address certain issues. That's all it takes. But for some reason, people will rather stand on their soapboxes and talk about how awful things is instead of being proactive to reach a solution.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Rico, talk to me about this situation, man. One of the richest countries in the world, yet and still people have to be subjected to drinking dirty water.
So that's when you say, get up, stand up, fight for your right.
Mm-hmm.
But don't just listen to the song and like it for the entertainment, but take some things for the message and pay attention to what's important. You got to fight, sort of go back to what Hits got going on and pretty much what I said yesterday. When you see that there's a need, and if you think you can have an impact on making that need better, making that situation better, contribute to it.
Mm-hmm.
Do what needs to be done when you see what needs to be done. Don't just ignore it. Don't be so narrow-minded and self-centered to the point to where you don't notice everybody else's hardships or conditions that exist. Because one thing is true about this thing. Conditions create every situation that we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
The condition you were born in, the condition you were raised up in, trained in, taught, guided in, all your values, everything comes from the condition you were brought up in. Mm-hmm. And when you start noticing some things seem like they are, I'm going to say, specific for you or people like you, they are unfair, then you have to go and find all the ways that you can make change to that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Make your contribution to see what you can do about it when you recognize it instead of just saying, oh, well, that's how it is. But guess what we'll do? We'll say, man, them white folks ain't going to let us do this and that.
Mm.
Man, them white folks ain't going to let no Black man be president.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just to keep them doing it. I'm in Alabama, man. We still don't have a lottery. And I remember cussing people out like dogs in '99, the day after we had an opportunity to vote for it. Man, I hate this state. We ain't gonna never have no lottery. They so backwards, and so I asked these same people, because the same people I had said the day before, well, you know, you gotta vote today. You gotta vote today.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go vote? But everybody had a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, man, you know what? You claim y'all wanted a lottery. You claim we needed a lottery for our education system. But once again, human beings like to do what they want to do instead of doing what they need to do. They're going to do what makes them feel better. You know how many people I saw waste 4 or 5 hours twiddling their toes and playing video games and didn't get up and go take that little 15 or 20 minutes it would have taken to go vote?
Yep, exactly.
And I'm seeing it still happen.
Mm-hmm.
I saw us still up to get Obama in, but the only reason we participated to get Obama in because we had a whole different purpose and agenda. It was for the trend. It was for the culture.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't show up because they actually was a need to have the right man in place. They showed up because, hey, this is a trend. You know, hey, it's like Chucks and Pearls. Let's get together and get Obama in. And then when he needed us to show up again for the midterm, they had more important things to do in their eyes. So I mean, you know, man, we Willa said it a second ago, man. We've been conditioned to be addicted to convenience and to be conditioned to consume.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And we love what we're consuming.
Exactly.
Whether it's good or bad for us. Most of the things that are bad for us, we like it. We still continue to consume it and not choose to go and address the things we should address.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And how sad is that, brother? How sad is that, man? We love the things that's killing us. We love the stuff that's killing us, man. Willa, why is that? Why do we love the very thing that's killing us?
Well, we don't think that it's killing us, Raheem. We don't. We don't think our mindset is totally different. All we just satisfied is, and your topic was about it one day, let somebody else do the work. I'm just gonna join in when I can fit in. Because that's the kind of mentality most human beings have. It's about, let me stay in my little area. As long as my little area is not being affected, I'm okay. You know, and that's really sad that's the mindset of the people. You know what I'm saying? That's the mindset that people have, not thinking about each other. You know, that little topic that you had just before this one. You know, how many of us are thinking about helping each other? You know, because if we did, Raheem, this world would be so much better.
Yes.
But it's not like that. It's about a world of status and selflessness, what I want, what you can do for me. You know what I'm saying? Because if you see anybody, you in a job, you lead the job, you got different resources. That's why when they say the president's got a lot of cabinet and other resources. And so if something is addressed, he addressed that company or that cabinet. He says, we need you to do this, that. That's why they have meetings all day. He's just one man, but he's one man leading a lot of resources. So you look at the job. And if somebody's not doing their job, you as the leader got to step in and say, hey, what's going on? Because every year, every 6 months, we get an evaluation. If we get an evaluation and I know you're not doing your job, now I need to step in. But if the whole system is not doing their job, somebody didn't drop the ball. Somebody.
Exactly.
So that's how we got to look at it, Raheem. You understand? We got to look at it that way. But then, like you said, like what Michael Jackson said, the man in the mirror.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Exactly. K with an E, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm fine, and you all?
Hey, doing good. Okay, I'm asking a question this morning. I want to hear your heart on this. America is supposed to be one of the richest countries in the world, right? Why is it, if America is one of the richest countries in the world, why are some people subjected to drinking dirty water in this country?
Because it's broke off, and you got some people in this country drinking dirty water. Some people in this country living different. It's just the world in a different point, and everything's different in different places, just like culture, races, jobs, everything's different.
Wow.
Nothing's the same. If everything was the same, oh my.
Wow. Toy you with a T. Now I'm shifting back for a second. We know something is killing us. Why in the world will we partake in something that we know is killing us? We know it's killing us.
It's a possession. It's a possession of the devil, man. We know cigarettes is killing us. We know that some of these drugs, it might be fentanyl. We got to go get the drugs more. We know cocaine might kill us. We know selling drugs might kill us. We know a lot of drinking, over drinking all day. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us are conscious of what these things are, but I'm going to tell you like how we used to be. That's right. I was possessed. The more I fought God and him existing, the more possessed I grew, because then we get to driving buses and planes to hell.
Wow.
That's a lack of God in my life. That's what that was. You know what I'm saying? I'm so caught up in being angry and bitter about maybe what I've been through, the circumstances, and what was me? Don't let me even think on what the life think about black people, and I really ain't gonna be able to stand up in this world. That's a possession of the devil. That's a lack of God. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, it will be a year in November where I am cigarette free. You know how many years I prayed to be delivered from that? And God kept telling me, you hold on 1 second. I'm going to deliver you when I'm ready. It ain't got nothing to do with you. You know how many days I just had one and I just woke up and I know that was God. I know it was him. And I was delivered. No more. You understand what I'm saying? And I knew they were killing me. I even knew the reason why I did it when I was younger, because again, I need to outmatch the pain. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to let nobody else destroy me. And oftentimes we destroy ourselves with our choices and decisions and the things that we do, being promiscuous, putting myself in situations to have a record. You understand what I'm saying? And then now when it's time for me to do what I got to do, I can't get an apartment because I'm a felon. You know what I'm saying? I can't get a good job because I'm a felon and I'm 45 now. You know what I'm saying? But still at the end of the day, those are the poor choices and decisions I made, regardless of what around me made me do it. I still had to live with that. And again, a possession of the devil. The only way. I am not paying the consequences that I should have paid for the things that I've done is God. You understand what I'm saying? And the only thing that I can say is different is that he's given me the strength and the knowledge and the just the blessing and the grace to challenge a giant, like being a felon and still getting a job that I should have, being a felon and still being able to get my master's degree, working on a PhD, being a felon in spite of everything that I went through, having the strength to even challenge a giant like that in this time. Because you cannot do it by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So some of these choices and decisions, we do know that they are killing us. As a matter of fact, some of us are chasing death to see if we're going to die or not.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But I think, again, at the end of the day, when you continue to indulge more and more in the harmful things, you can act like an ostrich all you want to. But when you know things come with labels and they say they are killing you and they still indulging in you, that is the enemy, because the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And
Yes,
you need
ma'am.
to know that. And in order to be delivered from that, only thing you can use is a God.
Absolutely. Paul, what do you say to that, brother? Why in the world would, if we know something is killing us, alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, whatever, why do we keep why do individuals keep partaking in those things?
Well, alcohol or certain drugs, I think, can be therapeutic and the right small amount. Part of our culture. It's been part of human culture
Sound like you
since
be
the beginning of human beings.
Sound like you be puff passing, brother. Sound like you be puff passing. But go ahead, Paul. Don't pay me no attention, man. Don't pay me no attention.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can go too far for sure. I used to use cannabis daily, and I found it after a while. I realized this isn't good for me. I'm relying on this too much, and side effects. You eat more, you gain weight, all this stuff. it goes back to what we're talking about earlier, is people trying to fill a void. They have some kind of issue that traumas that they gotta get over and stuff like that. But I wanted to circle back to the original thing about like why is there dirty water and
Okay.
Alabama, was that the latest one?
Well, Alabama, there's Flint,
Alabama.
Michigan, certain different places, but go ahead.
Yeah. I think like a big part of it is because I've been obsessed with politics for since probably like the last 10 years. And talking to people and listening. I listen to right-wing news sources. I listen to all kinds of stuff. Sort of an obsession of mine. And the thing I've noticed is that that everything is about race. Everything in American politics is about race. So and now they're putting gender into it and sex and all these different things. Why are these rich people allowed to have mass incarceration and dirty water and crime and all these other systemic problems? Is because they can distract us. They can say, you know what the problem is? It's these guys over here. So I'm kind of on a mission to expose anyone who does that game, because that game is ungodly at the very least, and it's harmful. If we're playing the let's blame these guys game, then we're never going to make progress, because that's exactly what the powers want. They want us to be angry at each other.
Okay. Leonard, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thought, brother.
No, that's basically it.
Okay. Leonard, do you agree with that most things political is based on racism?
What I do believe is that racism has permeated every aspect of American life, period. Thus, critical race theory. That's what it is, as I've mentioned before. America has a racism problem.
How do we cure it?
Well, one, I think we're moving towards it. We know where we come from. We exactly know where we come from. Everybody knows that. Because where are we trying to go? There's some people fine with the system. I get very frustrated sometimes when I listen to people from the South. Especially when I hear any black person sympathize with what the Confederates were about. Because you have to know what side you're on. What side are you really? I don't care about you being smart. What side are you on? And it don't take no degree and be no rocket science to stand firm on something you believe. If you believe that we need to get rid of something in our communities, then you have to do that. You can't wait for somebody else to do it. I mean, there's a lot of things from an activist perspective where we try to actually develop strategies to get things done. So if somebody say, hey, would you help me do this? Where are the strategies to get them done? Because we definitely have to be serious about what we're trying to do and not just lip service, as Toya was talking about. I'm not going to no meeting to sit up and listen to you run your mouth. I don't like spending my time like that. I like planning on how we gonna attack. Period. And as long as they want to fight, I'll be fighting against them. And if you don't have that type of mentality, really, I'm not gonna rock with you at all. You can't just keep looking at something and don't do nothing, especially when there is something that everybody can do.
That's good.
Everybody talking, well, voting don't work, voting. How you know if you ain't never showed up? How you know? Or do you just sit and get on the bandwagon, we this and we that? I'm not with y'all, period. I'm with the group of people that's trying to do something to make changes.
30 seconds.
I'm done.
Good deal. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
And once again, I think it all goes back to just, people being behaviorally addicted to things and not realizing. It's easy to be codependent or to have things that you use or need to have as a coping mechanism just to make it day to day. You have trauma, stress. You have racism. So some people, black men and black women, they don't handle this experience in America the same way. It affects everybody differently. Some people ignore it, suck it up. Some people try to compromise. They try to make, they fight one side and then then they love another side and don't realize that as long as you participating on both sides, then you really just taking your tail. But when you don't know any better, you can't do any better. It goes back to what Paul said the other day, man. You have those that should know better and those that just don't know better. But when it boils down to the ones that know better or should know better, it really comes to the fact that they start thinking about the reward. They know what they could do that's right. Once they understand, well, you know what, man, doing this and doing that is affecting me or sort of in a negative way. But man, I just can't help it. I need just a little bit more sugar.
Wow.
So it's like we lack that balance, man, and it's hard finding that balance. When you especially when you don't realize you're addicted. I mean, man, listen, we love convenience. We love consumption.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We love to go and do things that makes us happy. We love to be entertained. We want to have fun. And if we can cook dinner or maybe eat and not even have to waste time cooking or preparing dinner for 2 hours and waiting on it to get done, maybe we could go and do something else we want to do and then just run by McDonald's and hit the drive-thru. Now we kill two birds with one stone. Now I could do 2 or 3 things at one time that I want to do. I could do more in the day of things that I want to do. And when you start loving and really enjoying those rewards of the things you love to do, it's hard to admit you're addicted to it. So, I say this all the time, man. Everybody ain't addicted to drugs. Everybody ain't addicted to cigarettes. Everybody ain't addicted to gambling. Everybody ain't addicted to money. But everybody has some type of addiction. Some people are addicted to religion. But you have to find a balance so it doesn't become too extreme.
Good deal. Mr. Hicks, what's on your heart, sir?
Yes, sir. Well, I was thinking about this, right? I remember how the voting, people that voted was dropping, and then when Obama came on the scene, it sort of jumped up again. There was this hope, and I think in terms of what you call culture, culture is something when when you go into an area and all the people respond a certain way in order to fit in, you have to adapt to the culture. I think a lot of politicians go into these situations with a different idea. Jimmy Carter, all of them, and then they go in the culture because they got a short term, but the bureaucrats that run all the agencies of service, they're there for life tenure, 30 and 40 years, and they're rooted and not elected. I think that I always wonder if everyone stopped voting, recognizing that the system itself, just a two-party system, and that it's not a thing that anyone could become president or run for president because of the lobby and corporations and the influence of self-interest. If everyone stopped voting, I wonder what would happen. Because I understand the hype about go out and vote. And I heard all my life, and some fact that if we get some people in there that got our color and face and everything going to change, they're going to do this and they're going to do that, and so it's like the dilemma is that you recognize that in local politics your vote count, and in terms of things that affect you, maybe. Because there's still so many lobbying and political backroom smoking cigar stuff going on. I believe that if everyone stopped voting, it would force them to look at the system and expose stuff. But it never happened. But vote, and they're gonna do this for you, do that. No one's held accountable for the promise they made.
Exactly.
And I just talking to Paul, just something Paul said. I understand from his perspective because I've been in college. I've been around people that come from different and how they look and see that the Democratic Party is so good for us because they talk about us and working people. They talk about it. They always talk about it. Same thing with Republicans. They talk too. We're in a dilemma, and I don't have a solution except for some kind of way getting spiritual.
There you go.
To keep your sanity while everything around you fall down.
That's good. That's good. Hey, Leonard.
Sir. The Bishop Gregory Apple.
Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I'm doing very good, brother. Good morning to everyone.
I'm asking a question. I'm gonna go back a couple of pages, and I'm asking you this question right here, Bishop. America, one of the richest countries in the world. Why are some people subjected to having to drink dirty water?
To be frank, I couldn't answer that question. I know that the issue that took place in Michigan and the old pipes, and when I was the county commissioner, I can speak on this as it relates to DeKalb County. It's one of the things I was telling them, hey, the system is so outdated. We need to upgrade. You pay all these taxes, and as taxpayers, that's what we all are. We pay these taxes for the remediation or reconstruction of some of the issues that we've been dealing with. And they get in these political positions, and they get sidetracked, and they begin to spend money in areas that are not necessary, but they're trying to appease some people to help get them in office. So, I guess I did give an answer as to why. We are the richest country. I think we're number 8. The United States is the 8th richest country in the world. So, as it relates, we deal with dust and soul, and we see it. But I think the young man that was just speaking said if we stop voting, when everybody stopped voting, then we'd send a message that, either you're going to work on our behalf or you won't get elected. But if we don't vote, then they'll stay in office, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because if you don't vote, then the person that's in office is going to stay there. So, what message have you sent in a situation like this? Certainly, if the people that's in office are not doing what they're supposed to do, and you say, well, we're just not going to vote at all, and you keep them in office, you actually, in essence, voted for them. Let's keep this thing going. Willa, what's on your heart?
I'm on the other side of the coin with that one, Raheem, because right now that's our problem. We don't vote and we don't get involved. You're going to be here. You're here, and your children are going to be the next generation. So in reality, we're supposed to be setting it up for them. We're supposed to be trying to set this world up where the world will be so much better for them. And by us not casting our vote, because our vote is our voice. We can sit around and talk about this all day, but if we don't vote, we don't have a voice. We say anything we want to out our mouths, but when you don't get involved, you don't have a voice that means anything. And I say that not, I'm not, trust me, I'm not boasting or bragging about nothing, but I'm a woman that I get involved. Danny K. Davis is United States Representative here in the state of Illinois. I'm in his committee. I'm on his committee. I'm there. And he didn't got older now. He's not going to give up that seat, trust me. But what we suggested is that he started teaching and training another younger individual to take his place because he has a heart for the people. You understand what I'm saying? But we're just a little small group that's working with him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all watch the news or not, but here in Chicago, I know y'all heard where they're bringing in a lot of immigrants. Pride is that we all immigrants except for the Native Indians. But anyway, get off that subject. They're bringing them in. Why? And you think about why. We all talked about that. Because now they're going to increase they're giving them visas to work. Now here, our unemployment is way out. COVID gave a lot of people a lot of money. Those budgets that they use for our taxes trust me, the money is not there the way it used to be, but they're constantly giving out the money. They're bringing in these people to work. Trust me, to work. Now, when they work, because the people are now saying, I'm not going to work for no $15 an hour. I want to work for $25, $30 an hour. But it's just not happening. I just want you to look at that, because I'm trying to, be respectful with my 3 minutes. That's why I'm talking so fast.
No, you
but
good.
You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
You're getting what I'm saying. The government know what they're doing. They know. But if we don't vote, we don't have a voice. And that's what I want to say.
Good deal. Good deal. Toya, you want to talk to me, sis?
Yeah, no, Willa spoke all truth. And not only that, that $15 sure ain't gonna get you approved for that $1,500 apartment that you gotta work and make 3.5 times the rent for. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's so many issues, but again, not only is it about voting, right? Because that's the most simplest thing we can do, because this culture is already kind of created. The hardest thing we can do is break away and do it ourselves. The hardest thing we can do is take $1 each. African American, supposed to be like 44 million of us. We could take $1 a week. That's $44 million a week. Multiply that by 4. And that can be what we utilize to put something in place to help us in times of need, or purchase whatever it is we need to do. And we can still make investments off interest. I'm just throwing that out there from their system.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Use their system to beat them.
That's right. Can't beat them, join them. That don't mean we got to be like them. You know what I'm saying? But something that simple, that's how we know it's a possession of the devil. Because it's something that simple. Everybody know the majority rules. But we're so selfish and want to run something ourselves. I'm not going to put that energy. It really defeats the purpose. That's the law of the game. Majority rules. And when the majority turns out and speak out in volumes, you can't deny it. You just can't. You know what I'm saying? And then when that majority isn't heard, I'm not going to do what Donald Trump would say, we need to turn up. Because everybody, we don't have to go anywhere with pitches and bats when it comes to politics. We can simply go to our local meetings, our local Capitol buildings, and have conversations. You don't have to get violent because we're talking about politics and we're talking about how to reconstruct our cities. We don't have to get violent. I understand emotion, but we don't have to do that again. We want to put it on some kind of imaginary ghost, but it's us. How we handle things, how we respond to things, what we choose to put at the forefront of what matters. Is it going to care about those taxes? You don't care about them taxes if you buy $1,600 iPhones every season.
Exactly. Wow, it's almost time for us to get out of here. We got a few other people. I want to go to K with the E. And then we got somebody that's late for the day, but they super early for tomorrow. We're going to go to them as well. Y'all might not be able to figure out who it is, but I'm going to go to them in just a second. But they late for today, but they super early for tomorrow. K with the E, what's on your heart?
I'm just I agree with everything everybody done said. That's it. And we can't, if we don't vote, just think of a few of the people that don't vote and then the people that do vote. And then we thinking what we should have. Well, they didn't do this. That's because we didn't vote. So
exactly.
I'm a vote, and I think that it was something that we wasn't always able to do. So to be able to do something that we wasn't able to do and then decide we're not going to do it, that ain't going to get us nowhere. That's going back down the ladder. The ladder that we already done climbed up. So I would never do that one. That's like going to the back of the bus.
Wow. Well, this person here, man, they're late for the day. But like I said, Rico, they super early for tomorrow. You know who it is, Rico? Do you know who it is?
I bet it's Tucson.
Yes, sir. Tucson, he called you out, brother. He called you out.
Rico, a genius. I told you, man. I've been telling you, Rico. Prophet, Rico. He's going to give you a title, Rico. He's going to bring you in the Baptist church.
Look here, he late. He's
We're gonna straighten some things out. We're gonna straighten. We're gonna make sure if you can't do it right, we're gonna put you out. That's just the way we're gonna do it. I'm like that.
Hey, Tucson, I asked you a couple of questions before we get out of here, man. America is one of the richest countries in the world. Why in the world do we have some people have to deal with drinking dirty water?
Yeah. Well, we don't care about people. I mean, we don't care about people. We care about stuff. If it don't benefit, if we don't have a return, we just don't care about it. That's just me. But we'll raise millions of dollars from a doggone gorilla. Access.
Yeah.
It's been done.
Exactly. It has.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, why do
I just want to say, hey, good evening and good morning, everybody. That's all I call in for, man.
Good afternoon to you too, brother. Good afternoon to you too. Or good evening. You might be right. Good evening. But let me go to Badger. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Same topic.
Yes, sir. Badger, you know we can change this topic at 10 o'clock.
There's a good example that I can give. The area I live in, if the power goes out or the internet goes out around here, guess who gets theirs turned on first? The CEOs who are running those companies, and I know where they live. They will turn on their stuff faster than they will anybody else's, even if other people have families or whatever. It don't matter. And to me, that shows the example. If they have dirty water, they'll make sure they get clean water first. So I agree that it's our responsibility as citizens to vote and hopefully do the best we can to do an educated vote instead of just sticking with a party because that's what everyone else does. And quite honestly, until a lot of people learn not to be followers of nonsense, it's those of us that know better just got to keep on fighting.
That's good.
To work hard to get people like that out of the positions they're in.
That's good. That's good. Wow. Let me go. Who was I gonna go to? Let me go to Rico and talk to Rico in a minute. What's on your heart, brother? Give me a quick word. We're ready to get on out of here.
Man, it really boils down to this for me. Whatever tools that they have used in this system to have it in the situation or the condition that it is, you got to use those exact same tools to change that situation. You just can't sit back and say, well, hey, I just let the chips fall where they may and then complain about the situation. If you aren't voting, but they are using the vote to create laws to incarcerate certain people, to target certain people, to actually help an agenda succeed. If they're using laws to tear up, if they're using family courts to tear up the family, the black family, and they know that you are using votes to vote people in, to appoint judges, to appoint federal court judges, listen, you got to use whatever tactic, whatever tool is available.
That's good.
Without that, then they're going to continue to use that tool to control that system that you won't utilize. So if you want a lottery and they give you an opportunity to vote for a lottery, go give your vote. So your vote can count along with everybody else that says they want it, and then you can have it. Because if you don't, when you don't get it, then you just have to deal with what the people that didn't want chose to vote for. The people that did go and vote Because there's always somebody doing it when you're not. So you might not just have to participate, but you need to pay attention to why they participate and understand why you should participate. The reason why you should participate, because it is the tool we use to control the direction and the conditions you live in right now. Even though you are making your own decisions, the conditions and the laws and the limitations are based on who you vote in and how your vote went.
Absolutely.
The majority wins.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Leonard, closing it out with you, brother. What's on your heart?
Man, I think what is most important is that people understand their civic duties and how this thing works. It don't make no sense. You don't show up to a football game with a bat and a catcher's mitt. That don't go together.
It depends on who the referees are. You know,
don't be that fool that thinks. Rico just said, this is a system. It works a certain way. You were a part of that system, whether you believe so or not. But then again, we know those who ain't gonna contribute to our success because they sit down and do nothing.
Wow. Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Rico. What's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
First, I'm gonna bring up how you were 30 minutes late again, and you decided to show up with a time.
Hold on. What Rico mute button? Oh, there you go. This thing is shaking up.
All right, Rico.
It's shaking up.
You know he got a finger problem.
He said, "Then
if you missed today's broadcast and would like to see or hear the rebroadcast in its entirety of Raheem showing up late with a towel, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Standard Time on www.dkomediagroup.com. See Raheem show up late with a tie.
But look at, watch this though. Watch this. Hey, Toy, with a T. Toy, you still there? I think I don't know.
I'm here.
Hey, Toy, it's a sharp title, ain't it? That title sharp, ain't it?
If you better, boy, I done cut myself. I gotta give me a Band-Aid.
This ain't just no tie, brother. No, sir. This is a sharp tie here, brother.
You better stay dropping in some cheddar cheese, baby. You better get out the way.
We told Rico. He know Raheem got a problem with his finger.
Look at, woo! This time makes it woo. Sometimes it's one of them kind of times. Hey, Leonard.
Hey, Rico. Is Rico back on Raheem?
Yeah, he's there. Yeah.
Because Raheem be muting you. He be doing something with his finger. He don't go to mute you.
Hold on. I don't know what Kate talking about. Hold on. Something just happened with a line. Something happened with a line. I don't know what happened to a line. Something happened to Kate line.
Cause that's okay. You gonna go do that one day. Your finger's gonna crack.
Oh, hold on. Something happened to a line again. I don't know what happened to the line.
Cut the line. Lord have mercy.
That's what they do. Hey, Leonard.
Yeah.
Man, it's a sharp tie, bro. You need to see it, brother. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Look, woo!
You know what? I'm gonna tell you right now, ain't no way in HELL I'll put on the tie and be late.
Man, something on the little line too. What little line? Hold on. Something wrong with the little line. Hold on. Something happened to this line. I don't know what
they call it being fashionably late.
Look at it. Something happened to that brother line. I don't know what happened to it, man. You know, it's just.
So wait, as long as you wear a tie, you can show up late?
Hold on, Badger. Something you got a line over there too, Badger. Hold on now. You got a line too, Badger. You know, this whole.
Wait to your own show.
Told you what to tell you. I didn't want to do it to you.
Oh, sorry.
Told you what to tell you. I didn't want to do it to you. But listen, I'm gonna call her name. Cause I know she here. And this sister ain't said now thing about my tie, so I sure appreciate it. Well,
come on, Raheem. Let's go, Raheem.
Well,
pray for that tie now.
Oh Lord, what a mute button that? What a mute button that? Oh Lord. Well, are you ready?
Raheem, I am so tie ready. You just don't know to receive the word of God.
Did
Let's
she say?
go right
Hold
here.
on, hold on. Did you say you so tired ready?
Yes, she is.
I am so tired ready. Your tie is so tired. I had to get not only Band-Aids, but I had to get me some gauze and some wrap to wrap my hand.
She said, I'm so tired ready. Well, Willa, you know what? You know what? I ain't fooling with you, Willa. Let's go.
Let's go, Raheem. Let's go to the throne of grace this morning with humble hearts this morning. Amen. Nothing like laughter. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Let's go to his throne. Father God in heaven, Lord, we just honor you and glorify you this morning. Father, we thank you, Lord. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us to get up to see another day. Another day to get our relationship right with you, oh Lord. Father, someone said on this line that their heart was hardened. And Father, I'm asking you to touch their heart, soften their heart, and open up their mind to the truth. Father, you said it in your word that you created disciples to make them fishermen of men. And Father, I'm asking you to continually stand on your word and your promises, Lord. Give us some direction. Give us some guidance. Give us some wisdom and understanding. Keep lining us up with your will, Lord. Thank you in a mighty way, Lord, for protecting our families, for being that lawyer in the courtroom, for being that doctor in the sick room. Father, I thank you so much. Keeping us strong, Lord, through the Holy Spirit, allowing it to lead us, guide us, direct us, and show us your ways. Father, we love you this morning, and we honor you. I'm asking you to touch each and every last one that's on this line. Touch Raheem, Lord. Keep him safe in a mighty way. Thank you for DKM 1.1. Father, we love you. We honor you and glorify you in Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Man, we can get out of here on that note. On that note, we can get on up out of
Come
here.
on.
Absolutely.
Hey
Absolutely.
man, Raheem,
Yes, sir.
I decided, cause my phone went dead, man, so I decided to come and look at you, see how you check you out the time, man. It is pretty sharp, man. I mean, you know, you ain't gonna distract me though. You late, but you sharp.
Hey, you know how you say K with an E? We're going to be like Raheem with a K.
Come on now. Come on now. Boy, I looked. I said, man, look, I'm gonna wear that tie. I don't know which one I'm gonna wear tomorrow. I'm gonna pick out me one. I'm gonna wear one tomorrow too. I got a whole man. I collect ties, so I got all kind of ties. But yeah, I'm gonna have me a fancy one on tomorrow. Y'all check me out tomorrow. I'm having another time.
You better not have no suit.
Man, I noticed something today.
I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go live so I can see this tie.
Yes, ma'am. I'm telling you.
Oh man, it's bad. It's bad, K. I mean, look, he taught me something today. He taught me something about ties. You know what I'm saying? You come in late. All you gotta do is talk about how sharp it is. You're distracted.
That tie.
You forget about it, just like that.
Look here, hold on. One more mute button. My mute button around here somewhere. I gotta find it, but I lost my mute button.
He wasn't expecting that one, right? Well, Rico, you slipped it right on in.
Yeah, he threw there was an undercut right there. There was an undercut. Let me see. I bet you got shirt.
Hey, he's moving so fast, he muted himself.
Right.
Lord. Hey, y'all, it's been a great broadcast, man. Anybody got anything before we get out of here?
Oh, just one thing. I wasn't advocating about voting. I was just trying to point out that the whole system, the whole process needs to be really focused on.
Absolutely. Good deal.
Absolutely.
And on that note, we're about to get out of here. I want to thank everybody. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. More than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:12, so you're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug. Because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. That we shine some of this light in you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. See you tomorrow morning, if God say the same. And even see you tonight on Real Men Being Men from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you make your way back for Real Men Being Men tonight, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on DKM Media Group and Associates. See you then. God say the same. Have a great one.